Yo legends! Welcome back to the channel. Grab your headphones and lock in, because today's story is on another level. Want the next chapter? Drop a comment below, and if the legend continues, I'm bringing it straight to you. Disclaimer: I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Note: I'm constantly tweaking the settings to make it as immersive as possible. One Pace, The Nightmare of the Four Seas. Chapter 21. In the chat room, Buddha's Warring states, "Another one? A new elf Perona. What the hell? Why is it that the accessories I carry with me are transformed from people? Doesn't this mean that I have no privacy at all?" Even through the subtitles, you can still see the girl pouting in anger. Gecko Moria, shrimps, don't be afraid, Perona. There are no such things as elves in our world. Vegapunk, why does it feel like there's a number in the name of each elf? Caesar Courant, hey, Vegapunk, you finally reacted. Vegapunk, you're talking as if you already knew it. If you don't know, don't pretend. With your little tricks, it's easy to see through. Caesar Courant, who's pretending? Isn't it just that the names of the elves all have a number? I have already analyzed this kind of thing. His tone was full of guilt, and it was obvious that he was lying. Vegapunk was too lazy to respond and directly expressed his analysis in the chat room. Vegapunk, Kurumi Tokisaki, Rokyuko Hashimiya, Nanashi Kagano. Vegapunk, if we were to guess based on the numbers in their names, there should be 10 elves in total. Vegapunk, and if we follow this logic, the little girl named Gakawa Katori should also be an elf. Kaido of Beasts, you are indeed the smartest human in the world. Awesome! Chicky the Golden Lion, ha 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 ha. In terms of wisdom, it still has to be Vegapunk. Dalmesia, the doctor's analysis is indeed unique. Vegapunk did not get complacent with everyone's compliments, and he was still calmly analyzing the abilities of the elves that had appeared so far. Kagano Nanashi has the ability to fly on a broom and change freely, and seems to be able to sleep very well. Itsuka Katori has 100% confidence, and seems to be very hostile to Tokisaki Kurumi, and her strength is unknown. Hashimir Rokyuko has the ability to teleport, and is suspected of being able to help people unlock their lost memories. Of course, there is also the most troublesome Tokisaki Kurumi, who was personally admitted by Aokiji to be the most evil elf in history. The ability to teleport is similar to the door-to-door fruit air door opening, the ability to summon pale arms from the dark red hole, the power to read memories, the ability to clone, basically all kinds of abilities, and he is a very troublesome guy. There is also the dark red semicircular barrier that was just displayed on the sky, and its function is unknown. And on the sky, a new picture also appeared, not about the 3 elves, but the Straw Hat Pirates and Moria. The huge red-skinned giant was hanging upside down with 2 horns inserted into the ground. The Straw Hat Pirates took the opportunity to beat up the demon Oz, who had been turned into a zombie by Moria. Zoro showed a sinister smile, holding a knife in one mouth, and chopped directly at him. Sanji kicked Demon Oz directly in the nostrils. Chopper took out a handful of croton and threw it into Demon Oz's mouth. Lyre picked up the slingshot and shot at Demon Oz's back. Moria, who was controlling the Demon Oz, twitched his eyes. How come this group of people are just like the thugs on the street, using all kinds of tricks, even the 1,000-year-old diarrhea? The captain of the Whitebeard ship, Little Oz, was slightly stunned when he saw the giant demon. He didn't expect that he could see his ancestor 500 years ago through the sky curtain. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufu, is this the Oz of fortune 500 years ago? It's a terrifying size. Charlotte Lingeling, well, it is indeed very big, bigger than ordinary giants. Charlotte Lingeling, hey, little devil named Moria. Can the zombies you created mate Moonlight? Moria: how should he answer this question? Although he knew the answer was Dami. After all, Hogback and Sindori had been trying for so long, but until now, no child of theirs had been born. If he answered directly, would it damage his reputation? After all, if he said no directly, there would definitely be people who wanted to see the fun and ask, "How did you know?" and whether you had tried it yourself. Oh, I didn't expect that the famous gecko Moriah was actually a necrophile. Just as Moriah was struggling to decide whether to answer, Kaido said, Kaido, Lingling, you are really hungry, can eat anything. Looking at the huge red-skinned demon on the sky, Kaido twitched his eyes and had a new view of this good sister who once cared about him. Why does it feel that Lingling, who used to have a hot and sexy figure, now looks like she is hungry and will eat anything? Charlotte Lingling, well, I've never had a husband. I'm a demon. It's fun just thinking about it. Taudu Diwan, what a terrible woman, as expected of the 4 emperors, as expected of the woman who gave birth to nearly 100 children. Dashigi, hiss, is this the famous 4 emperors of the sea? It's really scary. Smoker, Dashigi, don't learn from that breeding machine. You are the woman who wants to be the world's greatest swordsman! Dracula Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman, a woman? That's an interesting statement. Boa Hancock, is that what I meant? From today on, I will become the future pirate king's woman! Lieutenant General Mole. Hey, why do I suddenly feel ignited? Dashiki, Mr. Smoker, when did I ever say I wanted to be the world's greatest swordsman? And there's something wrong with what you said, right, Smoker? It's the same thing. Anyway, Tashigi, isn't your wish to appreciate all the famous swords on the sea? Don't you want to take a close look at the black sword of the world's greatest swordsman? Dashiki, even if you say so. Jorkal Mihawk, interesting swordsman, do you want to appreciate all the famous swords on the sea? If you are at the Navy headquarters, you can have a chance to watch the Black Sword Knight. Dashigi, really Tashigi, Aligato, thank you so much for Mr. Mihawk's generosity. Mihawk's golden eagle eyes showed a hint of interest when he heard Smoker talking about Tashigi's hobby. If the wish is to appreciate the world's famous swords, you should meet many powerful swordsmen, right? In this case, you can find out in the future which swordsmen are worthy of swinging swords. That's right, Hawkeye took the initiative to invite Tashigi to watch the Black Sword Knight with the idea of fencing with swordsmen. As the world's #1 swordsman, he has been lonely for too long. For a long time, no one has been born who is qualified to challenge him. Originally, Shanks was considered a good opponent, but unfortunately his arm was broken after returning from the East China Sea. He doesn't want to compete with a disabled person in swordsmanship. It doesn't make much sense. Reading during the Dragon Boat Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Event time, June 8th to June 10th. Chapter 22. Ah la la, it's really a sweet snack. A girl licked her lips and looked at the dark red area that was spreading out, revealing a wicked smile. Black and shiny hair, skin as white as snow and jade, white with a hint of red, like a newly blossoming peach blossom, revealing the vitality and energy of youth. Her lips are slightly curved, revealing a sweet smile. Although it looks beautiful, it is frightening. The girl standing here is none other than Tokisaki Kurumi, known as the worst spirit. Haha, how do we feel? From the shadow space, pairs of beautiful eyes, golden and red, kept emerging, and their laughter overlapped, as beautiful as the waves of the sea. Oh, an unexpectedly tempting snack. Even though it was a decayed corpse, it was surprisingly sweet. The taste of the soul is really good. Within the range of the time-eating city, a group of zombies lost consciousness and lay there. Streams of green smoke came out and were absorbed by Tokisaki Kurumi in a special way. The golden clock in the girl's right eye is spinning rapidly, and it seems that a lot of time has accumulated. The zombies' shadows were slowly disappearing, and all creatures around the world that had lost their shadows due to Moria's power felt something was wrong. The naval captain who was sailing on the warship suddenly felt a pain in his heart, rolled his eyes and knelt on the ground. The pirate hiding in the shadows in the new world, his originally calm face suddenly changed. He picked up the machete and chopped at his body, and kept saying, "Kill me. Kill me." Because of Tokisaki Kurumi's time-eating city, the part of the soul cut from the shadow gained a long time, and those whose shadows were taken away by Moria experienced headaches, nausea, and heart palpitations. What a pain. The red-eyed beauty with bandages wrapped around her smooth arms had a look of sadness on her face as she looked at the zombies whose time had been taken away. Even the golden clock on his right eye was sealed with a white bandage. Bandage 3 opened his arms and shouted at the zombies. Your sacrifice is by no means in vain. I will remember your contribution to the world. The other dozens of clones, with their red eyes, looked at Bandage 3's sudden madness with indifference, and all of them felt that it would be better to kill him. As expected, things like dark history should be sealed by the power of the Lord of Seal! There is absolutely no need for creatures like Bandage 3 to exist. In the final chapter of Blowing the Horn of Dawn, I will fight the god of destruction nonstop until the end of the world. Wow, this is really funny. I didn't expect that Tang Menjiao was once a middle school girl. A cute girl's voice came, and as the bell rang, the fiery red twin-tailed girl also entered Tokisaki Kurumi's field of vision. It's really bad that people can see the dark history of the past. As expected, it is better to kill Ben Sen-no. Simply killing him won't work. Use the power of the Sealing Master to seal this memory, along with Ben San's existence. Neither the original body nor the clone took the sudden appearance of Gakawa Katori seriously. Instead, they were discussing whether to eliminate Bandage 3. You are totally unreasonable. You unilaterally denied my existence. This is really unfair. Bandage 3 clenched his fists, looking like he was fighting to the end. A defiant smile appeared on Gakawa Katori's face. She didn't care about the Kwang-san who ignored her. Her red eyes swept over the many Kwang-san present. There are a lot of people here. Are we having a party here? In just a moment, Gakawa Katori's outfit changed drastically. Itsuka Katori was wearing a crimson military uniform, with a wide black ribbon held up by two hard, cold horns. Her sleeves changed from the middle into a white kimono with swaying flames, and she was wearing a hot belt like a celestial feather robe. A huge battle axe was firmly held in the girl's palm, and a wild smile appeared on the delicate and lovely face of the girl. Since you don't listen to me, just prepare to be spanked by me. The quarrel among Kurumi's many clones fell into silence with Gakawa Katori's words. When Kwang-sen heard about spanking, she seemed to find it funny and couldn't help laughing. The clones around seemed to be infected with this joy, and they all cooperated with Kwang-san, showing their belly laughing. Ha ha ha, who are you, little sister? Go home quickly, it's very dangerous here. Haha, I didn't expect the commander of Flaxinas to tell such a joke. The fire spirit, oh my god. It's really scary. The clones from different timelines laughed and gave different comments on Gakawa Katori. As for Kwang-san's true form, she had already hidden in the shadow space the moment Gakawa Katori appeared. She is not like some people who have clones that can test the enemy's strength and intelligence, but insist on using their original bodies. Tokisaki Kurumi's red eyes flashed with joy, and looking at Gakawa Katori outside, she couldn't help licking her soft lips. Come on, let me see how powerful the strongest fighter of Flaxinus is besides those two monarchs. The girl in the black and red dress showed a passionate smile, and seemed to be very curious about Gakawa Katori. Outside world, Itsuka Katori raised her lips slightly and slowly raised the huge battle axe on her shoulder. A fierce flame that was enough to burn the air black appeared around the girl. Above the dreamy lotus feathers is the fire of destruction that will burn everything to ashes! Boom! The clones left behind by Tokisaki Kurumi. Dozens of Kurumi raised their flintlocks, and the flintlocks of different lengths burst out with astonishing power. The dark red spiritual bullet quickly slid through the air and then attacked the girl in the feathered robe. I was really underestimated. Even the angels were not used. Only some clones were sent as cannon fodder. Itsuka Katori easily raised her battle axe, and the majestic flames condensed into a fiery red wall at an astonishing speed. Even the dark red bullets made of spiritual power were no match for this wall of fire, and they all turned into nothingness. Ah, what a terrifying destructive power. Kwang-sen bit her finger in distress, but there was a playful look in her red eyes. Reading during Dragon Boat Festival. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now. Event time, June 8 to June 10. Chapter 23. Marco, This is Ace's Flame Fruit Smoker, the nature type Flame Fruit. They are indeed very similar, but in terms of power, I feel that the little girl is stronger. Kaido of beasts, ahaha, the flame fruit is nothing, and that girl is nothing. My breath fire is bigger than this Charlotte Lingling. Well, Prometheus can cause much more damage than this Gecko Mariah. Even dogs won't eat the flame fruit! Vegapunk. It's really interesting. It's not the power of a devil fruit, but it can use fire with quite destructive power. Rocks Djibuk. Oh ha. They actually use battle axes as weapons? How interesting. They look a bit like the people on my previous ship. Whitebeard, Gilala, Silver Axe. They all use axes, so there will inevitably be some crocodile. From this perspective, the strength of the elves doesn't seem to be very strong. It seems that they only win because of their weird and unpredictable moves. Through the picture, Crocodile feels that Tokisaki Kurumi and Itsuka Katori are not really that strong. Although the flame looks very imposing, it is just that through the picture. In Crocodile's opinion, the reason why Tokisaki Kurumi can play tricks on the general is still her unpredictable teleportation ability. As for the other things, they are really not strong enough. But the next second, the fight between the two seemed to slap Crocodile in the face, burning hot. Turn to ashes. Burn and destroy the ghosts. Itsuka Katori gave a delicate cry, her voice as clear as a silver bell, yet revealing an incomparable majesty. In an instant, her body seemed to be surrounded by endless flames. The raging fire poured out of her body like an erupting volcano, and the hot breath distorted the air around her. However, these flames did not rush directly towards Tokisaki Kurumi, but gathered around Gakawa Katori, forming a rotating flame barrier. In the blazing flames, a black and red axe gradually appeared. Itsuka Katori's small but powerful hands easily grasped the axe. A black stick extended from the center of the black-red battle axe. Driven by Kinlai's thoughts, it gradually transformed into an extremely sharp sword blade. The sword blade was wrapped with clusters of flames that were enough to burn the earth into charred blocks. Destroy with one swing. With a cry of determination, the black and red battle axe was raised high in the dazzling firelight, and then chopped down quickly. The girl in the black and red dress, with one golden and one red eye, was stunned. She lowered her head and looked at the body that was cut in half. A gloomy look appeared on her face. And this is just the beginning. The tremblingly sharp cold light pierced through the sky, like the arrival of the god of death, cutting dozens of Tokisaki Kwangson's clones on the field into pieces. All of them were torn apart by this extremely powerful blow, as fragile as pieces of paper. Whether it was the arms, thighs or head, they were all chopped into pieces, and then quickly devoured by the extremely hot fire into charred blocks. After delivering this blow, Gakawa Katori placed her battle axe heavily on the ground, causing a huge vibration that caused dust to rise up. He slowly took out a lollipop from his pocket, peeled off the candy wrapper with his slender hands, put the candy in his mouth, and then gently turned and licked it, with a calm face. Crocodile, who was imprisoned in the Impel Downs, stood in a dark cell, his eyes fixed on the screen playing on the sky screen. His usually calm face was now full of astonishment and shock, and beads of sweat slid down his forehead. What on earth was that? Just an axe. The terrifying penetrating power even dissipated the clouds dozens of miles away in an instant. That blow was not just as simple as destroying dozens of Tokisaki Kurumi's clones. The high concentration burning flames not only instantly ignited the sea level, but also formed an extremely hot area in the air. The flames burned fiercely, covering the sky and the sun like the end of the world, covering the entire sea area. Even across the screen, one can still feel the pressure that cannot be ignored, irresistible, and almost destructive. The scorching heat in the air seemed to penetrate the screen and hit me, making it almost impossible to breathe. Whitebeard, Gilala, this is truly a very special flame. Even sea water can't put it out. Black Arm Zephyr. It seems to be the opposite of the power of the healing flame. The flame that can burn in the sea water is really amazing. Akiji Kyuzan, seeing that little girl doing it with ease, It seems that she doesn't take Tokisaki Kurumi seriously. Moonlight Moriah, haha. It's really embarrassing to think about it this way. A general who was fooled by a clone is compared to a little girl who killed dozens of clones. Aokiji Kyuzen, that was a parallel world and I was careless. Besides, I wasn't injured by the attack of the 3-part avatar. Shiki the Golden Lion, ha 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 ha. Even after being treated like a fool, the little navy kid seems to be quite calm. Aokiji Kyuzen, shut up, you old bastard who was killed by Borsellino! Akinu Sakaski, the remnants of the old era who were easily killed by the Navy admirals have no right to say this! Shiki the Golden Lion, humph, Kizaru? He only dared to come here when I was in a bad state. If it were decades ago, I would have killed this brat! Spider demon, pirates, stop bragging all the time, you old bastards who have been eliminated by the times! Rocks Djibek, oh ha 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 ha. It seems like I'm looked down upon! Shiki the Golden Lion, humph. Sooner or later I will make the Navy realize the gap! Rocks Djibek, what a pity. If I could be resurrected, I would definitely rule the world. Pirate King Roger, ha 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 ha, rocks, just stay in the underworld. Stop dreaming, Jaws, what the hell? Diamond Jaws, the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, seemed to have seen something incomprehensible and exclaimed in the chat room. This exclamation directly attracted the attention of many bigwigs in the chat room. Smoky Smoker, what the hell? What the hell is this? Gecko Moriah, this is too much. Even more exaggerated than the Straw Hat Boy incident! Perona, how many shadows did this guy absorb? Chopper, how is it possible? Nami, is her ability to bear unlimited? That must be at least 3,000 shadows. Luffy only absorbed a few hundred. Yellow Monkey Borsellino, Kuwa tilde, it's really scary, is this a nightmare? Dragon Boat Festival reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now. Event time, June 8 to June 10. Chapter 24. Above the sky the girl in dark red spiritual attire appeared again, still a clone, but this time there was only one of her. Who would want to fight with their real body when they can use clones? Tokisaki Kurumi's eyes, one golden and one red, stared at the scope of the city of time, and her slender fingers slightly hooked as if something had happened. Within the dark red area, purple shadows flew up like a group of bats that were startled, and were quickly absorbed into her body. Is this the gathering place of Moria's shadow? But how many shadows can you absorb? Itsuka Katori bit the lollipop in her mouth and showed a slightly provocative smile on her cute face, without much surprise. Among Nightmare's abilities, there is a shadow space filled with Tokisaki Kurumi, which can temporarily absorb shadows, which is barely acceptable. Ahaha. Suddenly, a demonic laugh echoed in the air, as creepy as a ghost. A hint of madness and excitement flashed in Tokisaki Kurumi's big eyes that sparkled like red glass. Countless shadows were quickly taken back into her body, and a happy smile appeared on her face. Itsuka Katori was so shocked that she didn't even notice the lollipop falling to the ground. Her round red eyes widened slightly. Are you kidding? Is the endurance so strong? That's all? You're still not satisfied? Gakawa Katori clenched the battle axe in her hand and was about to swing it to see if she could stop Tokisaki Kurumi from absorbing more. But the next second, Tokisaki Kurumi seemed to have noticed her little move and finally stopped plugging the shadow. 3,400 shadows. Tokisaki Kurumi muttered to herself, her voice carrying a morbid yet charming magic. This feeling is so great. As the laughter slowly faded away, the girl in the black and red dress placed 2 flintlock rifles, one long and one short, on the ground. Her skin seemed to be even paler. It really is a bit troublesome. Itsuka Katori clenched her fists, and the blazing flames continued to spread around her body. A huge battle axe was wrapped in red flames, like volcanic lava about to erupt. Swordsmanship, physical skills, the 6 styles of the Navy, haki techniques, and even some of the power of devil fruits. What can you use to fight me? At this moment, after absorbing all the shadows, Kwang Sen seemed to be even more inflated and arrogant, and began to take the initiative to provoke. However, now Kwang Sen has the capital to be arrogant. His left hand turned into shadow, and instantly stretched out in front of Gakawa Katori, waving his fist at that cute little face. Rubber random beat exclamation laugh exclamation before Kwang Sen's fist touched Kin Lai's cheek. There was a sound of a battle axe breaking through the air, and her left arm was instantly chopped, and blood splattered. The Straw Hat Boy's rubber fruit. Can you even harness the power of a devil fruit? The potential of the shadow fruit is truly hard to estimate. It's just that you've made such a big fuss, and this is it? Itsuka Katori was full of emotion, and the nervous look on her face gradually dissipated. Her move just now has already tested out Kwang Sen's background. Although Kwang Sen used the power of the shadow gathering ground to add a layer of buff to herself, her strength did increase, but her speed did not increase much, and her physical fitness did not change. It's easy to get injured just by being hit. Itsuka Katori's cute and delicate face smiled, and she chopped the air with an axe. Alas, even though I ate a lot, it didn't seem to have much effect. That's right. After all, with one person's mental strength, how can one integrate the battle memories of thousands of people in a short period of time? Tokisaki Kurumi didn't care about such a small matter as getting hurt. After all, she was just a clone, so if she died, she died. Just a little test of the power of the shadow assembly. Now it seems that it is not as ideal as imagined. The stacking is messy and not as good as the tactics of Ike no Dan. Looking at the picture on the sky, Gecko Moriah, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, was really shocked. Moonlight Moriah, how is it possible? That's more than 3,000 shadows. Why are they so weak? Monkey D. Garb, ha 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 ha. It looks intimidating, but can it actually be done with just one punch? Rocks D. Jibek. It's a mediocre move but not a perfect one. Using this move when fighting against top experts is basically seeking death exclamation Gecko Moriah. Even if you are rocks, you can't deny my special move like this exclamation rocks D. Jibek, humph, ha, ha. Kid, with the power of your move, you're not even worthy of carrying my shoes exclamation Kaido, ha ha ha. You've become weaker, Moria. You were once qualified to fight me. Upon hearing this, many people in the chat room raised doubts. He was once qualified to fight against Kaido. Impossible. He looks like an onion head with a beer belly. It seems that the vice admirals are more imposing than him. But that was admitted by Kaido himself, so it can't be false, right? In any case, Moria's strength is definitely not at the level of the 4 emperors, otherwise he wouldn't be hiding on a ship playing zombie games. These are what the Navy pirates on the sea said. Akenu Sakaski, too weak. This move that can only enhance some of the strength is not bad, but Tokisaki Kwang's 3-part Avatar Foundation is not too strong. Akiji Kyuzen, la. Indeed. Although she is very strong and doesn't look like a noble lady at all, her physical fitness and reaction are too weak. She was almost cut off her arm by just a slight touch from the axe. Black Arm Zephyr. I don't know how the clone's physical fitness compares to the original body. Black Arm Zephyr. If the difference is similar, it seems that he is the same as Borsellino, relying too much on his abilities and ignoring that the body is everything in battle exclamation Yellow Monkey Borsellino, Mr. Zephyr, my physical strength has always been very good. Before I could finish my words, I was interrupted. Akenu Sakaski, it's really good. In terms of water release, it can be released for 10 days and 10 nights. Kizaru Borsellino, Sakaski, it's not like you to slander my innocence out of thin air. Black Arm Zephyr, humph, Borsellino, if you keep on being so careless, you will suffer sooner or later exclamation Black Arm Zephyr. The stronger one is, the more versatile he is exclamation Black Arm Zephyr. You can't reach the top just by relying on the power of the fruit exclamation Kaido of Beasts, humph. Only domineering power can be above everything. Chapter 25. As expected, although it took a little effort, Tokisaki Kurumi's head was still chopped off by Gakawa Katori. A dignified nightmare wouldn't just send his clones to die, right? Gakawa Katori glanced at the empty scene and frowned slightly. Her frontal combat ability is indeed very strong, and she can even fight against the 4 emperors without losing. However, she is only strong in combat ability. Facing Tokisaki Kurumi, who chose to hide in the shadow space, there is really nothing she can do. What a coward. Itsuka Katori muttered. In the shadow space, Tokisaki Kurumi stood upside down, with her index finger gently pressed on her lips, and a smile flashed in her red eyes. Alas, you are unexpectedly capable. As expected of the commander of Flaxinas. Well, then, be a little more serious. There was a hint of amusement in Tokisaki Kurumi's voice. Her eyes were fixed on Gakawa Katori, and she couldn't help but chuckle. What an interesting little girl. One bullet. The shadow of an ancient Roman-style dial appeared in the shadow space, and a cloud of black smoke emerged from the place where the time was displayed as letter 2170, and was sucked into the flintlock. Almost without hesitation, he shot at the clone's forehead. Since the ordinary clone can't do anything to you, let's try to see if the clone after time acceleration can have an impact on you! The golden clock eyes rotated, consuming a lot of time, and gave the 36 clones a layer of time acceleration buff. Come on, let the fire elves see how powerful nightmares are. Let's. More than 30 girls who looked exactly like Tokisaki Kurumi, dressed in divine spirit clothes and holding 2 flintlock rifles, quickly emerged from the shadows. Do you finally dare to show up? It seems that he still has some courage. After Gakawa Katori emerged, Bandage 3, who had been hiding in the shadow space, finally came out. Evil Balrog. What on earth do you want to do? Dare to attack the Lord of Darkness? Are you ready to pay the price? The smile on Gakawa Katori's face froze slightly. Her toes were so tight that they made a 3-room apartment, and she silently stared at the middle 2 or 3 people whose right eye was wrapped in a bandage. His eyes glanced at the other clones, as if asking, is such a shameful dark history really a nightmare? Even a nightmare like Tokisaki Kurumi twitched her lips when she noticed the look in Gakawa Katori's eyes. The dead black history suddenly began to attack me. Compared to the embarrassment of Gakawa Katori after encountering Chunibyu, the faces of the other clones were all red, and the flintlocks in their hands were not even aimed at Gakawa Katori, the enemy, but at Bandage 3. As expected, dark history shouldn't exist in this world. Tired, let's destroy it. Am I trying to embarrass my enemies to death by being so embarrassing? Dozens of Tokisaki Kurumi raised their flintlock rifles one after another. Hundreds of dark red bullets transformed from spiritual power, as if they had taken some tonic, were more than 3 times faster than before, whizzing towards Bandage 3. Hey, I am your ally. Why are you attacking me? Bandage-san rolled and crawled to open the hole leading to the shadow space and avoided the dark red bullets. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. A nightmare like that actually has a Chunibyu or something. Itsuka Katori laughed so hard that she almost rolled on the ground. A few minutes ago, the voices of the crew members of Fraxinus suddenly came from the headset beside Gakawa Katori's ear. It appeared. The options appeared. The middle-aged man with a Mediterranean look slammed the table, his eyes burning like a big bad wolf, looking at the options that appeared. This is the intelligent auxiliary function of Fraxinus. It can provide us with different action options during the battle and cause mental damage to the enemy. Laughing out loud, mocking the nightmare for being a Chunibyu, follow Bandage 3's words and act pretentiously in front of Tokisaki Kurumi's clone. The mocking effect will be better. Exposing her snow-white tender thighs, she imitated the meow of a cat, trying to make Kwang-san bleed from her nose, causing a physical blow. Hello, hey, what's up with the last option? Was it added by the deputy commander? There seemed to be a pink atmosphere around him, and the blonde handsome man opened his arms, looking immersed in it. Ah. When I think of the commander showing his white thighs and stepping on my face, I am so excited that I want to bleed from my nose. Kanazuki Kyoyuhei imagined the scene of being stepped on the face by the dark and venomous commander, and gave a thumbs up to the main screen. As expected of Flaxinus Artificial Intelligence, Maria, you really know a lot. On the silver-white screen, an electronically synthesized female voice was heard. Deputy Commander, please place your hands on the console. Ah, what happened? After hearing Maria's words, Kanazuki Kayuhei naturally switched out of the pink atmosphere and placed his hand on the console with great trust. The next second, a strong electric current instantly swept through the blonde handsome man's body, and his blonde hair was charred black. Maria's calm voice contained a hint of anger. Don't take me for a pervert like you. I just simulated different scenarios and options that would interfere with the enemy. Cool black smoke came out of Kanazuki Kayuhei's mouth, and he fell to the ground unconscious. Lying on the ground, spewing black smoke from his mouth, he still did not forget to express his admiration for the commander. As expected, compared to Maria, a 3-no AI, I still want to be electrified by a cute girl like the commander. The female crew member with bangs covering her right eye couldn't help but sigh as she looked at Kanazuki Kayuhei, who was almost electrocuted and still thinking about the commander. This person is beyond help. Murasama Riani lowered her head slightly, looking at the silent Kwang San's clone. I always feel that Maria, the artificial intelligence, doesn't seem very reliable. The last option will definitely lead to an attack, while the first two options seem to only irritate the enemy. More than 30 Tokisaki Kurumi's faces darkened, and their shoulders trembled slightly, as if they were angered by Kakawa-Katori. The two flintlock rifles were filled with strong spiritual power. Reading during the Dragon Boat Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Activity time, June 8 to June 10. Chapter 26. The people who were watching the movie, looking at the scene inside Fraxinus, suddenly didn't know what to say. Tina. According to Tina's judgment, the deputy commander of Flaxinas is a pervert who likes lowly Charlotte Lingeling. What a unique interest. He seems to want to be stepped on by cute girls. Kaido of Beasts. Lingeling, you have no right to comment on other people's hobbies. Your hobbies are quite weird. You have given birth to almost 100 children. Do you plan to have more recently? Rocks D. Jibek, it's a pity that I'm dead. Otherwise I could have helped Lingling have a baby or something. In Rock's time, Charlotte Lingling was one of the most beautiful women on the ship, with a devilish figure and a sexy and charming face, which appealed to his hobbies. T-Pig plus : as expected of the biggest pirate among all pirates, this taste is really strong. Smoker, no way. There's actually someone who's into that fat Charlotte Lingling. That's a really strong taste. Charlotte Prospero, damn Navy, you are the fat pigs! Charlotte Katakuri, smoky smoker. Fine, just don't let me see you in the ocean. Charlotte Cracker, humph, a mere Commodore in the Navy, you think it's okay to insult your mother in the chat room? Smoker, hey, Brother Cake said that too. Unfortunately, no one paid attention to Smoker's words. Cake said it. After all, he is a candidate for admiral. Anyway, if Mom doesn't take action, they can't take this guy down. But Smoker said it, then it won't work. Do you really think the big mom pirates are made of mud? Rocks D. Jibek, can someone explain this to me? Ling became a fat woman or something. Whitebeard, Gilala, old captain. Just be happy, don't worry about these. Kaido, although I don't want to admit it. Time is indeed a butcher's knife. Wangshai, Lingling's body shape change is completely expected. After all, ordinary women are not so fertile. Charlotte Linlin, well, I think you are just jealous. I traded my out-of-shape figure for an imperial pirate group. Sengoku was speechless. Is this something to be proud of? If he could give birth to a bunch of great generals, Sengoku might be jealous. However, Charlotte Linlin's sons, even the most talented Katakuri, do not have the strength of an admiral. They are just ordinary. Sengoku showed a look of disdain, but a trace of envy appeared in his toed glasses. Although not as good as an admiral, it is still outrageous for one person to give birth to an imperial group. Bullet 7. A short gun emerged from the dark red hole. The dark red spiritual bullet shot directly into Kakawa-Katori's body. In just a moment, Kakawa-Katori's expression froze in an instant. Whether it was the blazing fire wrapped around the raised black and red battle axe or the white lotus robe swaying like a dream, it seemed as if the pause button had been pressed. The ability of the 7 bullets is to put the life it hits into a state of time stasis. Tokisaki Kurumi's clones all showed happy smiles, and their laughter intertwined together. Flintlock rifles of different lengths fired at Gakawa Katori, who was standing still. Oops. The commander seems to be temporarily unable to move. The woman who hid her glasses with her bangs swallowed nervously, secretly worried about Gakawa Katori, who was about to be hit by the bullet. Deputy Commander, think of a solution quickly. The curly-haired girl anxiously called out Kanazuki Kyohei's name, but she didn't get an immediate response. The voice of Maria, the artificial intelligence, sounded. Can deploy a random field, use the manifestation device to activate the teleporter, and send the commander back to the interior of Fraxinus. Great idea, Maria. The Mediterranean uncle clapped his palms and tried to control the screen in front of him. Just as he was about to do so, he was stopped by a hand. Deputy Commander, what are you doing? The Mediterranean-haired uncle looked at Kanazuki Kyohei, who was trying to stop him, with a puzzled look on his face. Isn't the deputy commander the one who likes the commander the most? Why stop him at this moment? Could it be that out of love, hatred has turned into love, and he wants to use Tokisaki Kurumi to bury the commander on the terrifying triangular sailboat? The Mediterranean uncle swallowed hard and looked at Kanazuki Kyohei with a defensive look. Haha. Don't worry about Commander Gakawa. Kanazuki Kyohei narrowed his eyes, stroked his chest, and said with an intoxicated look on his face. Commander Gakawa is the strongest and will not be defeated so easily. The Mediterranean uncle was stunned, looking at the picture of Gakawa Katori being shot into a hornet's nest, and couldn't help but feel anxious. Her head-on combat capability is indeed very strong, but she was interfered by Tokisaki Kurumi's time-stopping ability. I'm afraid she will be riddled with holes when she wakes up again, right? The curly-haired woman in uniform stood up. She seemed to be unable to tolerate Kanazuki Kyohei's attitude of not caring about Commander Gakawa's safety. She was about to say something. Don't worry. Her face was like a giant panda, with thick dark circles under her eyes. The long silver-white-haired lady sat in the position just below the two commanders, and she opened her red lips slightly. If it's just this level, it won't cause any effective damage to Katori. As soon as Murasama Riani finished speaking, Gakawa Katori also resumed her actions. As soon as Gakawa Katori regained consciousness, she felt the pain coming from all over her body that could not be ignored. Looking at the white dress stained with bright red blood, Gakawa Katori was slightly stunned, and then seemed to understand everything now, and spoke calmly. The ability of the seventh bullet, time standing still, is really useful. At this moment, the chat room of Pirate World seemed to be in a frenzy. There were densely packed speeches in the chat room, and 99 plus Nami. Are you kidding me? You can even stop time, Brooke. Yo ho ho, if I am forced into a desperate situation by nightmare, can Miss Nami give me one last look at Fat Thor Nami? The color skull trend! Boa Hancock. Trouble. I would rather deal with Whitebeard than this troublesome woman. Crocodile. He was fighting vigorously 1 second, and was pierced by a bullet and on the verge of death the next second. It was so terrible! Akenu Sakaski. He didn't even show up in person, but directly fired bullets that were enough to decide the outcome under the cover of dozens of clones. What a terrifying combat awareness! Kaido. Attacks against individual creatures, that is, the size of the creature, is ineffective. I wonder if I can resist it with armament. Black arm Zephyr. Fortunately, Nightmare is not in our world, otherwise the bullet that freezes time may not be able to withstand even the armament. P.S. I know that newcomers will not get monthly tickets if they don't ask for flowers. So, I ask for monthly tickets playing the role of a poor little author to read during the Dragon Boat Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Activity time, June 8th to June 10th. Chapter 27. Time stands still. Combined with the unique ability of clones and shadow space, doesn't this mean there is almost no chance of touching the main body? Such a guy is very troublesome just thinking about it. Rayleigh crossed his hands on the table, and felt his scalp tingling when he looked at Tokisaki Kurumi in the sky. Such a guy must not appear in the real world. Too difficult to deal with. He finally understood why Tokisaki Kurumi killed the celestial dragons but was still alive and well. This cautious detail, never revealing her true identity, ensures that she will not be caught easily. Even if the 3 admirals of the Navy unite, it is estimated that they will not be able to do anything to her. Let the clone fire bullets outside and the main body hide in the shadow space, occasionally interfering with the enemy and blessing the clone's status. Such a strategy is really too rogue. No matter how strong the attack is, it is useless if it cannot hit the main body. Flowers. The slender black shadow like a bamboo pole silently looked at the ability displayed by Tokisaki Kurumi on the sky, muttering to himself and analyzing the ability of the first bullet is to speed up time. The 7th bullet stops time for the person who is hit. The 10th bullet is to read the memory according to the clock that appeared behind her. There should be 12 different kinds of bullets. Moreover, they should all be abilities related to time. Every time you activate your ability, it seems like the golden clock in your right eye will start to move. Is this using time to activate abilities? The dark red barrier seems to be robbing people of their time. No wonder it has accumulated such a terrifying murderous aura. With such power, even the greatest saint would be unable to resist using it, right? So, if I collect enough time, does it mean that I can live forever? Imu's eyes showed a trace of suspicion, and he felt a little dread and pressure about the mystery of Tokisaki Kurumi. Although he knew that they were not in the same world, such a terrifying person, just knowing it was enough to make people dread. Especially, the other party was like himself, mastering the means of immortality. Glancing at the injured body, Gakawa Katori endured the pain and spoke calmly. Even though he possesses such powerful abilities, he still hides in another dimension. How cautious. A slightly hoarse voice reached Tokisaki Kurumi's ears, and Tokisaki Kurumi in the shadow space blinked her golden red eyes. Why do you have to rush when you can just hide away? She is not a berserker. What if she dies if her true form is exposed? She doesn't want to experience death now. After all, how could she bear to die when her best friend hasn't returned yet? People with trypophobia would be very scared when seeing the dense bullet holes, right? However, Gakawa Katori was not too afraid. Even if she was shot into a sieve, the spirit's physique could still support her to fight. The huge amount of blood loss caused the dreamy young girl to feel a little dizzy. Gakawa Katori's body was covered in gelatinous blood, which was eating away at her dreamy white feathers bit by bit. It's dirty. Frowning slightly in displeasure, Gakawa Katori did not force herself to fight, but instead emitted a blue-purple healing flame from her body. In just a few seconds, all the bullet marks on his body disappeared, and even his pure white feathers became spotless. Divine power spiritual outfit 5th grade exclamation. This is not an ordinary piece of clothing, but a unique battle outfit for elves. The initial function is to be spotless, invulnerable to swords and guns, and immune to water and fire. You can also change the appearance as you wish. If it is put in the game, the minimum is also an SSR. Is this the regenerative ability unique to the fire spirit? Tokisaki Kurumi looked at the blue-purple flames that kept coming out of Katori's body with a look of nostalgia, and did not take the opportunity to sneak attack her. Hey, Quank-san, long time no see. A voice full of energy suddenly interrupted the battlefield. Itsuka Katori frowned slightly and looked at the owner of the voice. A tall, curvy, mature woman waved at Quank-san. Her skin was as smooth as the finest porcelain, and her hair was a rare dark green, waist length and swaying gently in the breeze. Her eyes were deep emerald, sparkling with cuteness and childishness, and she wore a tight black robe embroidered with astrological patterns. The neckline of the robe is low, revealing the delicate lines of the collarbone, adding a bit of charm and sexiness. Isn't this 7 Sin sauce? Tokisaki Kurumi looked at the witch in front of her with surprise. Obviously she didn't expect to meet her here. She came to the Terror Triangle just to relax. After all, the atmosphere on the sea has not been good recently. A certain doctor who did evil things, with the support of Tian Yasha, caused quite a mess. The thunder god from the sky was captured by the old and strong Zephyr and taken to the Navy headquarters for physical training. Of course, the biggest news comes from the ice monarch of Flaxinas. He was alone, first fighting the Flying Six of the Beast's pirates, and then had an epic battle with the drunk Kaido. Kick a mountain to pieces, punch the ground to break the wind. It can be said that the battle between the two was simply crazy. The physical battle made Tokisaki Kurumi dumbfounded. Even with her spirit body, she didn't dare to fight with those two monsters. You ask why Tokisaki Kurumi is in Wano country so far. There are tens of thousands of clones of the time spirits still active out there. Although I can't monitor the clones' every move all the time, the shadow space is connected. The information that Tokisaki Kurumi can obtain in the shadow space is endless. Although it is not as good as the omniscient and omnipotent Whisper in chapter, its intelligence capabilities are definitely first-rate! Who is Quang-san? Is she the new fire spirit? Although Kagano Nanashi looks like a mature older sister, she is actually a curious child. Looks like a little ghost. A hint of joy at seeing a fellow creature flashed across Kagano Nanashi's eyes, but after seeing the numerous holes in the ground, she wisely did not approach Gakawa Katori. Chapter 28. 7 Witch Sins. Gakawa Katori looked at the sexy lady dressed as a witch with her round eyes and asked uncertainly, "Do you know me? I've been sleeping for almost 10 years. Is there anyone who still remembers me?" Kagano Nanashi tapped the broom under her with the back of her hand, got off the broom, tilted her head and looked at Gakawa Katori. "Of course I know." Seeing Tokisaki Kurumi and Kagano Nanashi standing together, Gakawa Katori did not insist on taking action, but took back the Divine Power Spirit Suit 5th Division, and draped the red military uniform on her shoulders. "After all, you are so famous. You were once the changeable witch lady who was offered a bounty of 1.3 billion berries by the Navy." Although she said that the 7 sins were dangerous, Gakawa Katori was not too afraid. Because since the 7 sins appeared more than 20 years ago, they have never taken a person's life, directly or indirectly. Just some pranks that are annoying. Sometimes he would play around in the Marine headquarters by turning into Sengoku or Garp. He is a very sexy guy. Oh, I forgot to introduce you to. Seeing that Katori was not going to fight anymore, Tokisaki Kurumi's many clones retreated into the shadow space. Only one clone was left, walking forward, with a smile in the corners of her eyes, and her spiritual clothes disappeared, turning into an elegant and intellectual noble lady. The long hair, as smooth as silk and as black as night, was woven into 2 winding tracks, nestling on the jade-like shoulders. Her graceful figure exudes a deep and gentle mature beauty, like a model of an older sister. The bangs that brushed her left eye added a bit of mystery and charm, like an irresistible temptation, which aroused people's reverie. This is the outfit that Tokisaki Kurumi uses every day. Itsuka Katori snorted softly, and seemed to dislike Tokisaki Kurumi's look, and turned her head away awkwardly. Kagano Nanashi placed one hand on Tokisaki Kurumi's smooth white shoulder, and her emerald eyes flashed with a hint of joy. "Quang-san-chan, come and introduce this companion to me." Complex thoughts flashed through Tokisaki Kurumi's mind. "I don't think we are very familiar with each other. I had transformed into my appearance before, mixed in with many clones, and sowed discord in the shadow space, causing the clones from different timelines to fight each other as a result. We are so familiar with each other now." Regardless of the complexity of Tokisaki Kurumi's inner emotions, she still maintained the demeanor of a noble lady on the surface, with an impeccable smile on her face. "Well, let me introduce it to you. This is a witch who brings chaos. She is classified by the Navy as a spirit that is not very dangerous but loves to play pranks. The bounty is 1.3 billion berries." Pointing at Kagano Nanashi, who was wearing clothes with astrological patterns and a tall witch-style hat. Tokisaki Kurumi's introduction is very simple, and it is finished in 2 or 3 sentences. "This one is the commander of Fraxinus, and his target is Gakawa Katori, who has formed an alliance with all the elves." Itsuka Katori nodded slightly, holding a lollipop in her mouth and giving a thumbs up. "That's right. The spirit known as the Flame Demon is none other than me, Gakawa Katori." Kagano Nanashi's eyes were slightly closed, with a hint of curiosity in her pupils. "Since your goal, Katori, is to unite all the spirits, why are you still fighting with Kurumi? Shouldn't we do our best to win over Kurumi-chan?" Under the gaze of the emerald eyes, Gakawa Katori touched her cheek randomly, her fingers stroking her lovely face, her red eyes raised upwards, as if avoiding the sight of Kagano Nanashi. About this before Gakawa Katori could think of a response, Tokisaki Kurumi spoke first. "The reason is that I once accidentally broke her brother's arm. Tokisaki Kurumi's eyes showed joy and she said some scary words. But she didn't show much regret. No road race. That's not the reason. Itsuka Katori clenched her fists and retorted loudly, the black ribbon fluttering in the wind. Oh, are you shy? The commander of Flaxinas is actually a brother complex or something, which is really unexpected. Takasaki Kurumi covered her mouth and chuckled, her red eyes showing the glimmer of surprise, looking towards the other side of the terrifying triangular sailboat. No way. Shanks is that idiot. Who would care about him? Itsuka Katori's cute little face turned red as if blood was dripping out, and she kept muttering, Shanks, that bastard, is always so arrogant, meddling in everything and trying to balance things out. He doesn't care about me, his sister, at all. Me, I won't bother with that guy. Kagano Nanashi's eyes showed a hint of smile, and he did not refute anything, but nodded in approval. What a cute kid. It seems like they should be able to get along well. At this moment, the chat room was already blown away by the news that Tokisaki Kurumi suddenly revealed, and they didn't even bother to guess Kagano Nanashi's abilities. Pirate King Roder, ha 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 ha. I didn't expect Shanks actually has a sister. She looks so cute. Buggy. Damn Shanks. He actually has such a cute sister! Lackey Lou. I didn't expect that the eldest sister also has red hair and is so cute. Straw Hat Luffy, Shanks's sister. She looks like a good person. Nami, idiot. Don't just look at it! Whitebeard, Gilala. I didn't expect that a little brat like Shanks actually has family members in the blood sense. Shanks himself was stunned, looking at the girl with bright red hair and cute twin ponytails tied with black ribbons on the sky screen. He fell into deep thought. Is this sister a stepsister or a biological sister? If she is a stepsister, then it seems to make sense. After all, it's not like Shanks hasn't picked up a baby before, and Yuta is his adopted daughter. But if she is a biological sister, then it would be troublesome. After all, his relatives in the blood sense can be related to those celestial dragons, and Marijoa Fergalando Green, the ancient saint, is not a man who is easy to talk to. Shanks glanced at his cute sister, who was in a state of embarrassment because of what Kurumi said, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. No matter whether it is a biological sister or a stepsister, the revenge against Tokisaki Kurumi for her broken arm shows that she values her sister. In this case, Shanks admitted that Kakawa Katori is his sister. Reading during Dragon Boat Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Event time, June 8th to June 10th. Chapter 29. The portal between the powers suddenly opened, and a man with light red hair and a hairstyle that looked like a waning moon walked in. The man was the supreme commander of the Knights of God, the king who had been active in the Valley of Gods, ancient Saint Fergalando Green. You are here. The bald 5 elders wearing glasses greeted and pointed to the red-haired girl on the sky. Do you think it could be your bloodline? Old Saint Green was not too polite. He sat down on the sofa and looked at the little girl on the sky. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. Obviously, it's my seed. Be it the calm command or the courageous fighting style, they are the same as mine. And you see, that bright red hair color has already said a lot. When Ancient Saint Green said this, his eyes were shining, and his saliva flew across his face with excitement, spraying the faces of the 5 elders. It's not easy. Their Fergalando family not only produced one of the 4 emperors, but also an elf who is qualified to compete with the 4 emperor's generals. Although it is a parallel world, Ancient Saint Fergalando Green couldn't help but get excited. Long face. This is too long face. Although the high-level combatants of the world government are all very strong, the Knights of God and the 5 elders are not ordinary strong. However, they are all old. Both the 5 elders and the supreme commander of the Knights of God, Fergalando Green, have fallen into a state of aging. Among the current celestial dragons, there are only a few of the younger generations who can satisfy Ancient Saint Fergalando Green. And those who can satisfy Ancient Saint Fergalando Green are not from his family. This is a big difference. The only offspring who made a name for himself as one of the 4 emperors was lost by him since the Valley of the Gods, and was picked up by Roger, that bastard. Don't be too happy. She seems to have a good relationship with Shanks, and she doesn't have any characteristics of a celestial dragon. Before Saint Satan could finish his words, Saint Fegolando Green started to criticize the old man. What's wrong with not having the characteristics of a celestial dragon? Such obvious red hair, are you blind? If you are blind, go see a doctor. I finally saw my lovely daughter in the parallel world, but I was disgusted by Satan, the old silver coin. Fergolando Green felt so bad that he wanted to chop the 5 elders with a knife. Don't get excited, Satan is just raising reasonable doubts. Saint Mass, who has a long beard, coughed and signaled to Saint Satan with his eyes. You can shut up. Everyone knows how much this guy prefers his offspring. Even Shanks, who was raised by Roger since childhood, was granted the power to enter and leave Mary Geoise at will. Don't irritate him because of this little thing. Saint Satan was annoyed and snorted coldly. He doesn't care about the idiot in his head. Saint Fergolando Green is still talking endlessly about his daughter in the parallel world. My daughter is really cute. The way she bites the lollipop is so adorable. He became the commander of an air battleship at such a young age. His future is limitless, and she is fully capable of competing with the top masters. She is worthy of being my daughter. The 5 elders looked at each other, and looked at the ancient Saint Fergolando Green, who was praising his daughter crazily, and they were speechless for a moment. Everyone knows that you can't get the warmth of family affection from Shanks, but you don't have to pin your family affection on a parallel world. You can't see Kawakatori in the parallel world. Why are you so excited? The picture on the sky curtain continues wearing a JK uniform. Tokisaki Kurumi's red eyes seemed to penetrate the distance of space and saw the 2 sides fighting. Straw Hat Luffy used his life to start the 2nd gear. The sound of Ola Ola's punches resounded throughout the earth, attacking Gecko Mariah's body. Gecko Mariah is worthy of being one of the 7 warlords of the sea. He holds a shadow gun in each hand, and the purple bats flying in the air turn into the most terrifying killing weapon, biting towards Luffy. As expected, she is the one chosen by Red Hair Shanks. She can actually fight against the 7 warlords of the sea. Although Tokisaki Kurumi said this, she didn't seem surprised at all. There is no shortage of talent on the sea. 13-year-old Barrett can destroy a country. Charlotte Lingling, who is only 6 years old, can defeat a giant with her bare hands. The Seraphim, who was born less than 2.5 years ago, could even scare Blackbeard into breaking out in a cold sweat. The one Shanks has his eyes on? Straw Hat Luffy. He's here too? Kawakatori no longer cared about being shy and said to the huge battleship in the sky, teleport me back to the interior of Fraxinus. The artificial intelligence Maria directly manipulated the manifestation device, and the figures of Tokisaki Kurumi, Kawakatori, and Kagano Nanashi disappeared from the spot and came to the transmission machine inside Fraxinus. A display device. It's more advanced than it was 10 years ago. Kagano Nanashi looked at the main cabin with silver-white metal walls curiously, and praised it in amazement. There was not much expression on Kwang-san's face, but her eyes looked at Murasama Riani, and a complex emotion flashed across her face. It looks very similar to the original Phantom. Although he behaved like an ordinary person, even the thick dark circles under his eyes clearly told Tokisaki Kurumi that he was an ordinary person. However, Tokisaki Kurumi still subconsciously felt that something was wrong. Why is she so similar to the Phantom that suddenly appeared and disappeared? Whether it is height or body shape, there is a 70% similarity. Could 2 people be the same person? Tokisaki Kurumi suddenly sneered, as if she was laughing at herself. Gently covering her delicate white face, Tokisaki Kurumi couldn't help but laugh at herself. My paranoia has come back again. Everyone looks like an illusion to me now. Last time in the East China Sea, I saw the Navy Capentina and even mistook her for a Phantom. Sure enough, she is sick. I have a disease that when I see a girl, I think she is the mastermind behind it. Maria, showing the battle scene between the Straw Hat Boy and Gekko Moria at your command, Commander. On the silver-white screen, Gekko Moria, whose eyes were covered with circles and who was in a dizzy state, and Straw Hat Luffy, who had shrunk, appeared. How terrifying. Even the 7 warlords of the sea were defeated. Tokisaki Kurumi looked at the screen unexpectedly and spoke with a little surprise. Dragon Boat Festival reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now. Event time, June 8 to June 10. Chapter 30. Don Quixote da Flamingo. I was defeated by a newcomer. What a shame. Fufu, you are too weak. You are not qualified to become a Shichibukai! Jinbei. I still recognize Crocodile's strength. After all, he was a powerful figure who could challenge his father. But how can Gekko Moria hold the position of Shichibukai? I am very confused. Black Tina. Tina was very surprised that Gekko Moria, who had been invited by the world government for fighting against Kaido in Wano country, would be defeated by a newcomer. Akenu Sakazuki. A weakling is not worthy of being one of the 7 warlords of the sea! Aokiji Kyuzen. Ah la la la, now that our defeat has been seen by the whole world, we can't just sit back and watch. Kizaru Borsellino. This is really a headache. Is there going to be one less Shichibukai? We have defeated 3 Shichibukai one after another. If this continues, is there any need for the Shichibukai to exist? The faces of the 5 old men in power are not very good. The Shichibukai were selected by these 5 old men themselves. If the Shichibukai are defeated, it will only severely damage the reputation of the world government and make the 5 elders who selected the Shichibukai lose face. Counting the Shichibukai who was defeated by Fire Fist Ace a year ago, almost half of the Shichibukai have been defeated. If this continues, even if the Shichibukai continue to exist, they will not have the same prestige as before. Taoruryuan, Garp, the one who defeated Moria was your grandson, right? Monkey D. Garp, ha 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 ha. It's my grandson. From the looks of it, my grandson is really born to be a navy man! Akenu Sakazuki. He went out to sea as a pirate. Yellow Monkey Borsellino. He went out to sea as a pirate. Monkey D. Garp. You two shut up. I'll bring him to the navy sooner or later! Buddha's warring states. Let's go now, huh? After more than 10 years, you, as a grandfather, have not brought him to the navy, let alone just a few days. Pirate King Roger. Ahaha, he is more capable than I thought. Shanks has a good eye. Gekko Moria wiped the cold sweat from his forehead in the room arranged by Marineford, with his packed luggage behind him. He always felt that after the truth of his defeat was known to the people on the sea, the world government would get rid of him. Even Moria suspected that after this final showdown with Whitebeard, he would become a discarded pawn of the world government. So, it is better to run away now. Anyway, even if he does not become a 7 warlords of the sea, with his strength he can roam freely in the world. But just when Moria packed up and opened the door, his pupils were blank. In front of his door, Don Quixote da Flamingo, wearing a pink feather coat, walked in with a step that did not recognize any relatives. Fufu, where are you going? Gekko Moria. A cold light flashed under Da Flamingo's sunglasses, and a strong killing intent filled the room. Obviously, he was following the orders of the 5 elders to execute Gekko Moria in advance. Who is that figure? On the terrifying triangular sailboat, everyone was in a frenzy as they watched the defeated Moonlight Moria. Although some shadows were included in the scope of the City of Time by Tokisaki Kurumi, the vast majority of shadows returned to their original places. However, the revelry disappeared instantly when the crowd saw the big bear sitting on the rock with its legs crossed. Nami swallowed her saliva and tried her best to speak to everyone in a calm voice. Everyone, there is another Shichibukai on this island. Brooke was so scared that he broke out in cold sweats. Even though he was a skeleton, there was no such thing as cold sweats. But what is going on? They finally defeated one of the Shichibukai, and now they are told that there is another one. There couldn't be any worse news than this! Itsuka Katori gave a thumbs up and said to the screen in affirmation, "It's Tyrant Bear." There are even rumors that he is the second in the 7 warlords of the sea after Mihawk. Tokisaki Kurumi lifted the bangs covering her left eye, glanced slightly, and asked in a calm voice, "Aren't you going to help the Straw Hat Boy?" "I remember the Straw Hat Boy. He seemed to be someone your Onii-chan valued." Itsuka Kitori turned the direction of the lollipop, looking nonchalant. "What does what Shanks values have to do with me? Do I have to save everyone Shanks knows? That would be too tiring, right? The sea is cruel. If you don't have the strength to survive, it's better to die early to avoid wasting resources." At this time, Gakawa Kitori finally showed some characteristics that were consistent with the celestial dragons. She was too lazy to care about the lives that had nothing to do with her. Feigaran Galencheng, who had not yet left the power, looked at this scene. His pupils widened for a moment, and then he laughed out loud. There is nothing wrong with being a little selfish, and not caring about insignificant people without extra love. This is the best way to live. Feigaran Galencheng smiled like a chrysanthemum, and he had a lot more good feelings for Gakawa Kitori, his daughter whom he had never met in the true sense. Because she really looks like him. On the island, Big Bear held a small den mushi in his palm, and was talking to Big Bear. After Crocodile, was Gecko Moria also defeated? Really, it's so hard to find a candidate to succeed Crocodile, and it would be terrible if there is another vacant position of Shichibukai. Is Moria still alive? Tyrant Bear responded calmly. "Have no idea." A resolute voice came from the other side of the den mushi. "As long as he is still alive, Moria will temporarily serve as Shichibukai until the right person appears. If they suffer defeat after defeat, the 7 warlords of the sea will lose their dignity." "Big Bear, do you understand what I mean?" The bear's face remained calm, as if he had predicted what the other end of the den mushi was going to say. "Kill all those who witnessed Moria's defeat without sparing a single one. The majesty of the 7 warlords of the sea can no longer withstand the blow." Tyrant Bear nodded calmly and responded, "A piece of cake." Tyrant Bear finally stood up from the stone, looked down at the pirates on the island, and slowly took off his gloves. Chapter 31. Shiki the Golden Lion. Ha 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 ha. Now the whole world knows that the little brat named Moria was defeated. Whitebeard, Gilala. The world government's plan has been completely shattered. Red-haired Shanks. The ups and downs of the sea are always unpredictable. Luffy. I am really looking forward to the day when you can become the Pirate King! Buddha's warring states. Strange. Judging from the strength of Kuma and the state of the Straw Hat Pirates, they should have been dealt with by Kuma when Moria was defeated. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Phew phew foo foo. Is it free? The screen was playing on the sky screen. The 3 elves in the air battleship watched coldly, without any desire to meddle in other people's business. It's really powerful and terrifying. His eyes briefly swept over the famous scene of Big Bear bullying the weak. With 1 palm and 1 pressure cannon, thousands of pirates instantly became fragmented and scattered in all directions. The terrifying air cannon that destroyed everything in its path raised waves of yellow dust and plowed deep grooves on the ground. After just a few shots, the originally bustling group of pirates became sparse, with only the Straw Hat Pirates. Kanazuki Kayayuhei rarely lost his temper, but calmly analyzed the fighting power of the Big Bear. Preliminary analysis shows that the pressure gun is 5 times more powerful than the bullet fired by Tokisaki Kwangson's clone. Itsuka Kitori nodded, but she didn't have much objection. Meatball fruit. If the power of the devil fruit is developed to this level, it is qualified to fight against the 4 emperors, right? Kagano Nanashi's emerald eyes rested on the Big Bear, and a gleam of interest flashed across them. In the screen, the Big Bear dusted himself off, and his burly figure stood on a rock, sweeping over the people who were still standing. Roronoa Zoro. The swordsman praised by Hawkeye. The Big Bear looked at the man in front of him calmly, as if waiting for something. Zoro stood opposite him, holding the hilt of the sword tightly with both hands, his eyes full of determination and fighting spirit. And he took a stance of eye, ready to attack at any time. The Big Bear in front of him, like Hawkeye in the past, is a strong man who can make people feel the absolute gap! Unlike Moria, who can still see a glimmer of hope of victory through hard work. The strength of Tyrant Bear is simply unfathomable. He just stood there without any movement, but gave Soran the illusion of facing death. Two swordsmanship, and Rashomon. Brush exclamation first. With lightning speed, he sheathed the two swords, Kaido Zuzu and Sandai Kisuo, and then grasped the handles and slashed out with the blades in an instant. The blue-white blade light was like lightning tearing through the night sky, slicing through the air, destroying the rocky ground, and sending gravel flying everywhere. However, when the blade light dissipated, the figure of the big bear had disappeared. Zoro's pupils suddenly contracted, as if he realized something, and he rolled backwards almost instantly. Boom exclamation at that moment. A terrifying air cannon hit the ground, forming a clear bear paw shape that penetrated the ground. The big bear stood there, with a glimmer of light in his eyes. Good reaction speed. Just a little short of awakening the observation haki without giving Zoro any chance to breathe. The big bear instantly slapped out a white bear paw, quickly penetrating dozens of hard walls. The pressure in the air was like a substance, making it almost impossible for Zoro to breathe. However, Zoro used his extraordinary reaction speed to dodge the fatal blow again. White smoke came out of the tyrant bear's palm. It didn't look like he was expending too much energy, as if he was just doing it casually. But Zoro was panting, tightly gripping the hilt of the knife in his hand, his knuckles turning pale from the force. After the battle with Moria, he had already consumed a lot of his energy. Now here comes the tyrant bear, a tougher character than Moria. There is no hope of winning at all! But despite this, he still wanted to protect the captain! Zoro shouted loudly and swung out a blue-white blade. The blade was like a poisonous snake biting its enemy, and with a whistling sound, it attacked the tyrant bear. The tyrant bear did not make any big movements, but simply raised his arm. The fleshy ball on his palm acted like a mirror, deflecting the knife light to the side, causing dust to fly and gravel to splash everywhere. What? Chopper's eyes almost popped out, and he looked at Tyrant Bear's palm in disbelief. A calm and gentle voice came out from the big bear's mouth. I am a meatball who ate the meatball fruit. I can deflect all attacks. The Straw Hat Pirates were shocked and started discussing the meatball fruit. Such a cute name is totally incompatible with the title of tyrant. Robin had a cute image of a cat in his mind. The cat's cute paws looked very similar to the palm of the tyrant bear. Doesn't sound like a very powerful ability. Frankie was deep in thought. He put his hand on his chin to make an okay sign, and then Big Bear slapped him. An air bullet penetrated Frankie's chest. The powerful impact forced Frankie to fall backwards, and he only stopped after smashing a wall. Frankie. Robin looked at Frankie, who was knocked to the ground with concern, crossed his arms over his chest, and was about to use the power of the Hana fruit. The next second, a bear paw-shaped air bullet appeared again, knocking Robin onto the stone. Tyrant Bear glanced at the people still standing there. With just 2 flashes, all the members except Zoro and Sanji were knocked unconscious by him. Although the world government's order is to kill all of you here, there is really no fun in killing such a weak you. Tyrant Bear scratched his chin, his glasses flashed a white reflection under the sunlight, and he made a choice. How about this? I can let you go. In exchange, give me the head of Straw Hat Luffy with his head. The world government will surely stop complaining. Sanji stood in front of Luffy without any hesitation, preventing Tyrant Bear from spying on him, and said firmly, "Don't even think about it. We will never hand over our captain to a guy like you." Zoro struggled to stand up, his exhausted body, clenched his teeth, and tried to ignore the fatigue and pain in his body to keep himself awake. The blade he held tightly flashed a cold light in the dim light, as sharp as his eyes. Chapter 32. It seems that you refused, the big bear said calmly, raised his paw slightly, and a breeze came as his palm slowly lifted up. The air seemed to be squeezed by an invisible force, gradually forming a transparent sphere. Inside the sphere was air that was compressed to the extreme, flickering with a faint light. It is so large that it is almost as big as a small house. There was no compression or anything. Dakshin felt that this power was enough. Bear Paw, seeing that the situation was not good, Zoro gathered all his strength and slashed at the big bear. The sound of steel colliding was heard. The bear, who was about to launch the super-large air cannon, glanced at his shoulder and did not feel any pain. This kind of slash is really too weak. Roronoa Zoro, I'll give you one last chance. Give me the head of Straw Hat Luffy in exchange for your safe survival. Gu Jingcom's voice sounded again, but it was still met with rejection! Zoro drew out 3 blades and chopped down desperately. The Zoro of the parallel world didn't seem to have any good ideas, such as proposing to use his own life as a substitute, and could only rely on reckless swinging of the blade. There was a hint of appreciation in the big bear's eyes, and he was not in a hurry to launch the air cannon that could destroy the island. Big Bear doesn't seem to really want to kill Straw Hat Boy. Itsuka Katori crushed the lollipop in her mouth and watched the crushing battle with a bored look on her face. Normal. After all, he is an undercover agent of the Revolutionary Army in the world government. The Straw Hat Boy is the son of the leader of the Revolutionary Army, so he will definitely not kill him. Tokisaki Kurumi was not too surprised, and she understood the behavior of Big Bear. Sauga, no wonder you haven't taken action against the Straw Hat Boy yet. Glancing at Luffy, who was sleeping peacefully, Kakawa Katori had an expression of icy. In the chat room of the pirate world, when Tokisaki Kurumi revealed this news, it was already in an uproar. Buddha's Warring states, what? Bartholomew Kuma is an undercover agent of the Revolutionary Army. How do you choose people? World government rocks. Jibek, ha. Although I don't quite understand what the 7 warlords of the sea are, but seeing the world government suffer a loss, I feel pretty happy! Kaido of Beasts, Tyrant Bear. The power of the Revolutionary Army is really getting more and more terrifying. There are even undercover agents in the world government. Ha. I'm really looking forward to it. What can the Revolutionary Army do? Charlotte Linling, are quite capable. I wonder if there are any undercover agents from the Revolutionary Army on My Cake Island. Whitebeard, Gilala. Anyway, I believe in my dear sons. They will never betray me! Marco, Dad. We will follow you forever. The Navy ignored the pirates' shouting and instead discussed the necessity of the Revolutionary Army. Akenu Sakaski, is it really necessary for the 7 warlords of the sea to exist? Our pirates 2 free Aokiji 3 were defeated, 1 was an undercover agent of the Revolutionary Army, and 1 was imprisoned in the city of Impel Down. How many Shichibukai are left? Yellow Monkey Borsalino, Kuwa Ikanai tilde Are you going to abolish the system of the 7 warlords of the sea? How scary! I agree. Spider Demon, I thought Admiral Kizaru would oppose the abolition of the 7 warlords of the sea in order to reduce his workload. Yellow Monkey Borsalino, Ghost Spider, how can you think of me like this? My heart of justice is burning very brightly. Akenu Sakaski, it seems that Shebeati's incident also made you realize that the 7 warlords of the sea are unreliable. Yellow Monkey Borsalino, although it is just an isolated case, the 7 warlords are not my own people after all. I don't want to be stopped by the 7 warlords when I am carrying out my mission, or even be restricted because of the faction of the same camp. The 5 old men in power looked livid, and the bald old man with glasses slammed the table, and even half of the sword was broken. Who recruited Kuma into the 7 warlords of the sea? Satan Saint was not afraid at all. He just glanced at Isambaren. V. Nasu Shuling Sheng then admitted that he did it. The Revolutionary Army's undercover agents actually planted themselves on our heads. They are really brave. The blonde 5 elders had a gloomy face. He had been dissatisfied with the Revolutionary Army, a group of troublemakers who wanted to subvert the world government's allies, for a long time. I am tired. Why don't we abolish the 7 warlords of the sea as requested by the Navy? The 5 elders with long white beards looked tired. They were the ones who selected the 7 warlords of the sea. Do you know how difficult it is to select pirates who are not from the 4 emperors and have a considerable reputation from the sea? Anyway, Maz Saint was almost vomiting after looking at those yellowed bounty notices all day long. No way. The old man with a mustache staring at a birthmark on his head slammed the table. His face was not very good, but he still patiently explained the advantages of the 7 warlords of the sea. Hawkeye Mihawk possesses the fighting power of the 4 emperors. It is too dangerous to remove him from the system of the 7 warlords of the sea and list him as an enemy. The 5 elders with bald heads and glasses also calmed down at this time and nodded lightly. Indeed, even though the 5 of them are top combat forces, they think that top combat forces are the same as cabbage. Top combat forces can affect the ups and downs of a force. Don't you see that the Whitebeard pirates who lost Whitebeard were chased and beaten by Blackbeard Teach and Whitebeard Roman 2 like rats crossing the street? If there was a top combat force, would these 2 dare to play like this? Big Bear looked at Sanji, who fell to the ground and couldn't move, and Zoro, who was so weak that he couldn't even lift his sword. The air cannon in his hand leaned forward slightly. Suddenly, 2 strong winds raged in the air, and faint sounds of quarreling were heard. Ha ha ha. That's pretty impressive. Sixian, you are indeed my half. Your speed is no less than mine. This time I reluctantly admit that it's a draw. Correction. Yui is faster than Yakashi and arrives above the island 0.3 seconds faster than Yakashi. Impossible. It's clearly a draw. My demonic eyes saw the result of this match very clearly. Rebuttal. It seems that not only is Yakashi slow, but his eyes are also defective. What? Sixian, you are so bold. Be careful or I will beat you to the ground and make you unable to get up. Sneer. Come on, try it. Let's see how capable Yajashi is. How come I have a half like you? Correction again. Yuxian is the half of the wind spirit, the wind attendant Yamai. Don't try to confuse the concepts. Chapter 33. Ding, warning, the power cabin is affected by the storm. Do you want to continue to maintain full speed? Enter overdrive mode. Increase your speed to the highest setting. Kanazuki Kayuhei calmly commanded, looking at the gray screen of the drone being disturbed and unable to detect, and couldn't help but sigh. The Yamai sisters. What a surprise! Exclamation. This battleship won't crash, right? Kegano Nanashi, with her beautiful green hair, stroked her delicate lips with her index finger and took out a lipstick from her pocket to dress up. Flaxinas will not be destroyed so easily. Itsuka Katori bit her lollipop nervously and couldn't help but retort, her red eyes full of worry. Commander, the wind has now reached hurricane strength. It will be difficult for Flaxinas to escape. The strong middle-aged crew member reported the situation loudly. His hands were swaying with nervousness. So that Satsuka Katori let out a slight tisk, picked up the candy bar in her mouth with her fingers, savoring the sweet taste, and with a pop, the candy bar was gently pulled out from between her lips. She has made her decision! Exclamation. If this continues, Flaxinus may not be able to escape the fate of crashing! Exclamation. In that case, why not just do something ruthless! Exclamation. Switch to the cannon mode to burn and destroy ghosts. Cooperate with the main gun of Fraxinus. Aim at the eye of the storm and clean up the mess left by the Yamai sisters. Wait, I have a solution. The elegant and intellectual witch seemed to have seen through Itsuka Katori's plan, and she twirled her emerald green hair slightly with her index finger. Under the expectant gaze of everyone, a hint of joy appeared in her emerald eyes. Any solution? The situation was urgent, and Gakawa Katori didn't care about being polite and asked directly. Use Zayao Lear's seal to move the entire battleship of Fraxinus to another place. Itsuka Katori held her breath and thought about the feasibility of this method. She naturally knew about the seal of Zinbanluku. The Lord of Sealing is a conceptual angel with 4 different abilities. Among them, the ability of open can even open a tunnel like a black hole, even if it is a super large hurricane in front of you. It is no problem to transfer it to outer space. But the problem is, Flaxinus doesn't have Hashimura Rokyuko's contact information! Exclamation. Kagamino Manashi's proposal is totally a mere decoration! Exclamation. At such an urgent time, even if we contacted him, Hashimura Rokyuko might not come over. Hey, don't think I'm talking nonsense. Kegano Nanashi sensitively caught the contempt in Katori's eyes, and a feeling of unhappiness surged in her heart. She was wearing a purple tights with a hexagram pattern, and her figure was curvy. Her snow-white skin formed a sharp contrast with the dark purple clothes. He took out a broom from somewhere and proudly introduced his angel. My angel is called the Fake Witch, and her liberation stage is the thousand change mirror. The kaleidoscopic mirror can copy the power of devil fruits and even angels. Although its power is definitely not as strong as the original, it can still accomplish small tasks like moving a battleship. Itsuka Katori's eyes widened. No way. There is such a perverted ability. Doesn't this mean that she has many tricks up her sleeve? When she was fighting with Tokisaki Kurumi just now, did the witch also copy her angel scorching demon destroyer? Kakawa Katori subconsciously thought of this, and her face was not very good. Alas, they are worthy of being called seven sins. They are really capable. Takasaki Kurumi covered her mouth and smiled softly. Her twin ponytails of different lengths swayed gently. Her crimson eyes showed a hint of praise, and she licked her lower lip slightly. Marineford at 6 o'clock in the evening. Sengoku, wearing frog glasses, was staring at the picture on the sky with a serious face. Although the full-scale war with the Whitebeard pirates will start tomorrow, he, the marshal, did not make too many preparations. Because no matter how many strategies and preparations there are, they will only appear pale and powerless when facing the strongest man in the world. Although the Navy will definitely win this time, how much will it cost, and whether the rampant pirates can be tied down after the war, these are all problems. Sayo, what do you think? After hearing the sexy lady dressed as a witch introduce her abilities, Jan Guo couldn't help but ask Vice Admiral Tsuru, who was accompanying him to watch the sky in the office of the Navy Marshal. I'll sit and watch. Lieutenant General, he told a cold joke in a cold tone, crossing his hands on the table. After Jan Guo was slightly stunned, he calmly told his thoughts. The witch wearing a hat has not shown much strength yet. But since she has never killed anyone, she must be a kind-hearted person. When talking about the kindness of the heart, Lieutenant General Tsuru paused obviously, and then continued to express his views on Kagano Nanashi. It doesn't seem to match her mature appearance. Whether it's helping without asking for anything in return or greeting Takasaki Kurumi in a friendly way, she looks like a child whose mind is not yet fully developed. Jan Guo nodded slightly, agreeing with the opinion of the Navy's chief staff, and looked at the sky with a little worry. Vice Admiral Tsuru couldn't help but persuade her. Stop looking and go to bed early. Tomorrow you will be the Admiral of the Navy and fight against Whitebeard. You can't have dark circles under your eyes, right? Jan Guo shook his head and didn't agree. Although it is a parallel world, the reward of Chiamu is ultimately an unstable factor. This time, our two Navy members received different rewards and we gained an additional top admiral, which is a good thing. But Shiki also got a chance to be resurrected. If the speed of the Sky Curtain's distribution is maintained, in a few years, the lonely ghosts buried in the underworld will stir up new waves on the sea again. Vice Admiral Tsuru did not persuade her any more. As a senior naval advisor, she could almost understand Sengoku's feelings at the moment. Rocks, Roger, Golden Lion, these dead pirates may get rewards from the Sky Curtain at any time and be resurrected. When she thought that because of the Sky Curtain's rewards, Whitebeard returned to his peak state, Redfield returned to his youth, and Barrett escaped from prison and pushed forward the city. Now it wasn't just Jan Guo who couldn't sleep. Even Lieutenant General, he couldn't help but sigh. On the island, Big Bear used the power of the meatball fruit to create a large bubble and put all the Straw Hat pirates inside. He arrived on the Thousand Sunshine in an instant, took a look at the storm raging on the island, hesitated for a moment, and decided to abandon the ship to save the people. Chapter 34. The sky was unusually gloomy, and the clouds accumulated rapidly, forming a thick dark gray cloud wall, completely blocking the sun's rays. The wind howled, making a sharp and piercing sound, as if countless wild beasts were roaring, and the trees were uprooted and the branches and leaves rustled. On the sea, wherever the hurricane went, it raised wave after wave of huge waves as high as 10 meters. The waves were like angry dragons, devouring everything! The bear uses the power of the meatball fruit to teleport in the air, pushing a huge air ball filled with the Straw Hat pirates on his palm. However, under the influence of the violent hurricane, the bear's teleportation was somewhat affected. He staggered every few steps and almost fell into the sea. Don Quixote da Flamingo, this power is even comparable to that of the admirals of the navy, right Marco? If such a person were to attack the marine headquarters, wouldn't that be Yellow Monkey Borsellino, Kuwa Ikanai, the captain of the first squadron of the Whitebeard pirates? His idea is really scary. I am lout a half, I am lout a half, I am lout a half spider. Humph, it's just a hurricane. Watch me cut it apart! Exclamation crocodile. Don't be shameless. If Hawkeye or Mamatowny said this, I would believe it. But you are just a vice admiral of the navy, and you managed to cut through a hurricane that was big enough to destroy an island. Do you think you are the greatest swordsman in the world, Doberman? Although hurricanes are powerful, our navy's admirals are not vegetarians. Kaido, the king of beasts. Humph, although I am not very willing to admit it, the 3 admirals of the navy do have the means to fight against hurricanes! Exclamation Charlotte Linglin. Well, it's just a piece of wind. I can cut it off with just one knife! Exclamation Napoleon. Mom is awesome! Exclamation Whitebeard. This is just an unformed natural disaster. The storm that Shiki and Roger encountered in the battle was a real natural disaster. Even the 4 emperors would be in danger of death if they failed to pay attention to the storm in time during the battle! Exclamation Shiki the Golden Lion. Ha ha ha. The sea is always full of surprises. No one could have imagined that I would suffer such heavy losses in that naval battle! Exclamation Pirate King Roger. By the way, can the man who was entrusted with the straw hat by Shanks, Garp's grandson, escape from the storm? Nami, Luffy will definitely be saved. He is the man who will become the Pirate King! Exclamation Tony Chopper. That's right. Luffy is our captain. He won't die in a place like that easily! Exclamation Monkey D. Luffy. What? The bear paw man who slapped everyone away turned out to be a good guy. Nami, you just realized it. Stupid Luffy! Exclamation Vinsmoke Sanji. He is really thick-skinned. Monkey D. Luffy. Arigato, bear paw man. Thank you for saving me again! Exclamation Jan Taowen. You're welcome. Shingon has been transformed into a cyborg by Dr. Vegapunk and has lost consciousness. He can't hear. Nami, what? How could this happen? Isn't he one of the 7 warlords of the sea? Jan Tamaru. Even if you are one of the 7 warlords of the sea, you will be punished for stopping the admiral and letting the pirates who attacked the celestial dragons go. Brook. Yo-ho-ho-ho, the world government is really cruel, treating its own people like this spider demon. Humph. The 7 warlords of the sea are not our people, they are just a bunch of scum on the sea! Exclamation Monkey D. Luffy. Yo. It's decided. The next step is to rescue the bear paw man! Exclamation Nami. Hey, don't make such a hasty decision! Exclamation Jan Taowen. You are just a pirate, but you are really good at bragging. I will not tell you that Kumakan is imprisoned on Egghead Island. I am the most tight-lipped man in the world! Exclamation Tony Chopper. What? Hasn't this already been said? Monkey D. Luffy. Arigato. Bellaband man! Exclamation Jan Tamaru. Hey, don't give people nicknames casually. The scene on the sky was constantly changing. In the end, Big Bear finally managed to lead the Straw Hat Pirates out of the eye of the storm with great difficulty and arrived at a safe island. And the aerial battleship Fraxinus, with the help of Kagano Nanashi, escaped the capture of the storm. The second broadcast of the sky officially came to an end. In the base of the Navy headquarters, looking at the night sky with the moon rising, Sengoku finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the scene on the sky has ended this time. According to the nature of the sky, the question and answer session should start before the next broadcast, which will be about a week later. By that time, the Battle of Marine Headquarters will be over, and Whitebeard will definitely die in the Navy headquarters. By then, he will strive to retire within half a year, and no matter what rewards the sky issues him, it has nothing to do with him. Sengoku showed a big smile on his face, and just as he was about to go to bed, the Den Den Mushi on the table rang again. Sengoku picked up the Den Den Mushi on the table and asked in confusion Mashimoshi. Before Jan Guo finished greeting, the people over there couldn't wait to report the situation to Jan Guo. What did you say? Fire Fist Ace ran away. Jan Guo showed an expression of disbelief on his face. His eyes widened as big as copper bells, and his voice became louder and louder, so sharp that even Vice Admiral Tsuru next to him frowned. How did you guard it, Straw Hat Boy? It was him again, who not only rescued Ace the Fire Fist, but also released all the criminals in Impel Down, causing unprecedented chaos. Sengoku felt his head buzzing, and he didn't even care about the painful wail of Den Den Mushi because it was crushed. Navy Admiral Sengoku's eyes went dark, and he lost control of his body, almost falling backwards. Why? Obviously, as long as he killed one of the 4 emperors, he could completely start his retirement life as an achievement during his time as admiral. But now, he was suddenly told that the hostage he would use tomorrow had run away. Over the past few decades, all the evils that the Navy had imprisoned in Impel Down had escaped. This time, let alone causing an impact on the 4 emperors' structure and ending the so-called Great Pirate Era in one fell swoop. Even whether the Navy could maintain the existing order was another matter. Straw Hat Boy. Vice Admiral Tsuru's expression was cold. She had always turned a blind eye to Garp's grandson and had no big opinions. However, this time, what he did was a bit serious. She could still regard the commotion on Judicial Island as a child's ignorant mischief. Anyway, it only caused some damage to the reputation of the world government. But the nature of the current Impel Down incident is different. Not only can it not lead Whitebeard to the Navy headquarters to die, but it will also plunge the sea into new chaos. The criminals on the 6th floor are not simple. Although Redfield is old, the world destroyer Bondi Wald has been frozen for so many years, and his physical fitness must have declined. However, the Devil's descendant Barrett is a genuine admiral level. This man will be very troublesome. Chapter 35. Gilala, so that's how it is. Ace, you have a great brother. Dad, Luffy is still far from it. Port as Ace scratched his cheek with an embarrassed look on his face. Being locked up in Impel Down was really embarrassing. Moreover, as an older brother, he was rescued by Luffy, his younger brother. He didn't behave like a brother at all. Tiuhahaha, I'm glad you're okay. A week later, Ace, who was rescued, returned to the Whitebeard pirates. When he saw his silly son returning, a trace of joy flashed in Whitebeard's eyes, and he laughed loudly. Dad, that bastard Teach actually Whitebeard stretched out his big hand and touched Ace's hair fiercely, interrupting Ace's words. Gilala, Teach, I will take care of him myself. You don't have to worry about this kind of thing, Ace. Whitebeard easily put Ace into his broad chest, his eyes full of love. He didn't want to I am law a half, my dear son, I'm hurt again. Well, Dad, I won't fight alone again about Teach's matter. Ace nodded obediently this time, and he didn't have any idea of going to find Teach. He thought a lot about being imprisoned in Impel Down by the Navy this time. If he was imprisoned in Impel Down, would his dad come to rescue him? If his dad came to rescue him, would he die in the Marine headquarters? Every time Ace thought of the possibility of Whitebeard's death, his nose would sour. It can be said that Ace deeply felt the father's love in Whitebeard, and he didn't want Whitebeard to go to the Marine headquarters to die. Although he was confident that his father was invincible in a single fight, the Navy has been able to dominate the sea for so many years, not just by talking. The 3 admirals, whether they were ganging up or fighting in a round-robin battle, were enough to wear out his father. Dad, I will definitely help you recover. Ace firmly looked at Whitebeard, who was being served by the pink nurse and Roman 4 drip, and made up his mind. It's not that there are no people with fruit abilities that can heal people on the sea. There is even pure gold that can make people immortal. Even if there is nothing on the sea, the sky curtain is not a decoration. As long as you can answer the questions correctly, you may be able to draw the healing flame, a magical item that can restore health. With Ace's expectations, the sky curtain finally bloomed with new brilliance. Ding, emotional energy collection completed. Skylight system activated. Random questions are open. Please be prepared to answer the questions. Upon hearing this, the big guys in the chat room couldn't sit still. Pirate King Roger, has it started again? Ha ha ha. To be honest, I really want to go back to the sea to take a look. Rocks Djibek. Who among us dead people doesn't want to go back to the sea and take a look? Nicole Olivia. If I can answer the questions correctly, I might be able to see Robin again. Fisher Tiger. Ahaha. It's good to have a chance to be resurrected. I miss my friends on Fishman Island very much. I don't know how my old buddies in the Sun Pirates are doing now. Aaron. Boss Tiger. I will definitely answer the questions correctly and bring you back to life! Jinbei. I will do my best to help the boss resurrect! Kurla. It would be perfect if Uncle Tiger could be resurrected! Aaron. Humph, hypocritical human. Fisher Tiger. Don't say that, Aaron. Care has good intentions too. Aaron. Boss Tiger. If it weren't for this little girl, you wouldn't have died! Fisher Tiger. It's okay, it's not Care's fault. Yellow Monkey Borsellino. The Sun Pirates back then? It really is a time that I miss so much. Akenu Sakaski. Fisher Tiger? The man who broke the order. Bo Hancock. Tiger Boss Bluto. Really? Don't you guys want to take a look at the random questions? Kiji Kuzen. Ah la la la, I was so busy chatting that I almost forgot that I had a question. On the screen, a random question has been asked, and the thinking time is still 3 minutes. Ding, random questions have been generated. Excuse me, who was it that controlled the celestial dragons in the Sabayati archipelago, had a good relationship with Red Hair's daughter, and prevented the vice admiral of the navy from killing Straw Hat Luffy? The user of the childlike fruit, under the command of Tian Yasha. Sugar Bee, the user of the butter fruit. Big Mom Pirates. Charlotte Garrett C. Podjan Songstress owner. Yuya Miku D. Supernova. The Strange Monk Ulki Ding. Old rules. Start answering questions in 3 minutes. Everyone in the chat room started to analyze Ziajai's 8 One Piece. Roger, the fruit of childlike fun? As I recall, it seems to be able to turn the person it touches into the toy that the ability holder wants, and keep their appearance forever. At the moment when the fruit was eaten, Nami, is this true? There is such a heaven-defying fruit. The ability to maintain the appearance unchanged is powerful enough, but it can also turn anyone it touches into a toy at will. Pluto. Really? Doflamingo's men? This young man seems to be hiding a lot of things. Gecko Moriah. Haha. That flamingo is strong enough, and with such powerful subordinates, it's really hard to deal with. Since Doflamingo attacked Moriah a week ago, Moriah's position as a 7 warlord of the sea was officially stripped away. However, fortunately, Doflamingo underestimated him, so he was able to escape and didn't have to go to the underworld to chat with the Pirate King. Buddha's warring states, how can we rest? That little girl named Sugar actually has such an ability. No wonder the soldiers sent by the Navy to Dressrosa disappeared, and even the people around them forgot about them. As the marshal who ate the mythical beast species, Warring States not only has the strength comparable to that of the General Emperor, but also has the mental power of the Buddha. Many superhuman devil fruit abilities, especially those that interfere with him mentally, are basically ineffective. It is for this reason that Warring States clearly remembers the undercover who went to Dressrosa. After a period of time, neither the Navy who handled the intelligence nor the friends and family who had lived with the undercover remembered the existence of the undercover. In this kind of thing, Warring States guessed that it was the ability of the devil fruit, and it was superhuman. But there are too many superhuman abilities. He just listed dozens of suspected targets and didn't have any specific ideas. But it's much easier now. The information exposed by the Sky Curtain is really a big help. P.S. Will there be a next chapter today? Chapter 36. Charlotte Linlin, oh my, there's my daughter. This can be ruled out at a glance. A child as cute as Garrett definitely doesn't have the guts to control the celestial dragons. Kaido, Lingling, you are quite confident. Charlotte Linlin, of course, Kaido, my dear brother, I know my child's character very well! Kaido, the king of beasts, old woman, don't be too confident! Donkwixo Doflamingo, phew, we can rule out Sugar. She won't leave Dressrosa and go to Sabayati Archipelago. Akenu Sakaski. In order to prevent the fruit power from being ineffective, he imprisoned me. He is indeed the notorious Teniaksha! Aikiji Kyuzan. Ah la la la. Imprisonment. It sounds like a terrible word. Red-haired Shanks. Since 2 options have been ruled out, the only ones left are Ryuju and Miku. Ben Beckman. No, Shanks. We cannot rule out the possibility of interference from a parallel world. No one knows whether the people in the parallel world have the same personality as the people in this world. Vegapunk. Very smart, worthy of being Shank's right arm. Vegapunk. Indeed, according to my research, people in parallel worlds may have some changes in their personalities due to different things. Vegapunk. Although everyone I have seen so far is consistent with your impression, there are bound to be mutants and the like. Vegapunk. For example, the little girl named Sucrose killed Doflamingo and traveled alone, which is not impossible. Sugar, you are so mean, old man. Why do you slander my loyalty to the young master Don Quixote Doflamingo? It's okay, Sugar. I believe that as my family, you will not betray me. Sugar, young master Taudu Garden, so, relying solely on our subjective impressions is not reliable at all! Charlotte Lingling. Just like lunch. I have no idea what lunch will be today. Vegapunk. By the way, the person named Yui Miku is very likely also an elf. Vice Admiral Tsuru. Is it because there is a number in the name Vegapunk? As expected of a senior advisor to the Navy, he is smart. Monkey D. Garp. Ha ha ha. Just pick one at random. Anyway, we have so many people in the Navy, so we can always pick a right one. Sengoku slapped his head, and his words woke him up. There are so many people in the Navy, and they can guess the answer without thinking. As long as they react fast enough, they can definitely win all the rewards this time. Not bad, Garp finally did something great. Sengoku nodded with satisfaction and sent a message in the chat room. Buddha's warring states, all Navy listen up, no matter what the answer you think of, you must answer it as quickly as possible. Before the Navy could refresh the screen, the sky curtain system popped up. First ding, a rule loophole was detected. Turn on the kick-out mode. Those who are not strong enough, have insufficient reputation, or have insufficient fate will all be kicked out. Ding. Congratulations to Smokey Smoker for getting the qualification to stay in the chat room. Ding. Congratulations to Arlong from the Dragon Pirates for being kicked out of the chat room. Ding. Congratulations to Colonel Mouse for being kicked out of the chat room. Ding. Congratulations to Qian Gao for winning the qualification to stay in the chat room. Ding. Congratulations to Marshal Shan Guo for discovering a loophole in the rules and getting the Mute Package 30-minute deluxe version. Ding. Congratulations to Redfield. Stay in the chat room in an instant. The number of people left in the chat room was less than 1% of the previous number. Only a dozen or so famous strongmen were left in the Big Mom Pirates. A bunch of small fry were kicked out of the Beasts Pirates. On the Navy side, all the soldiers below the rank of colonel were kicked out, except for a few who stayed because they had more roles. Charlotte Lingling, Warring States, C.N.M. Kaido, Dogwin Warring States, Go Sema. You are a scourge to people! Red-haired Shanks. Wow, that's awesome. Admiral Sengoku was able to kick out so many people by himself. Whitebeard, Bilala. You are really great for making my lovely sons lose the opportunity to speak in the chat room! Jan Guo's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and he couldn't help swallowing his saliva. Even as a Navy admiral, facing the anger of the 4 Sea Emperors, he still felt a little sad. He was afraid that if he went out without the 3 admirals as bodyguards, the 4 emperors would join forces to beat him with bamboo sticks, tie him up in a sack and take him away, and then whip him in public. Buddha's Warring States. Cough cough cough. It's all a misunderstanding. Buddha's Warring States. The time for answering questions is almost up, so let's answer them first. Seeing that Warring States obviously changed the subject, the 4 emperors did not immediately pursue it. The most important thing now is to answer the questions. Kaido sat in the palace on the Ghost Island, drinking wine without any image, looking at the sky with hazy eyes. Damn, he's really smart. The Admiral of the Navy is really a little cutie. Kaido didn't hesitate at all and scolded Sengoku for a full half-minute. Hiccup tilde I don't know if the reward from the sky curtain can make me stronger. Ha ha ha. I'm really looking forward to it. Ding, the question answering time is about to begin. Please be ready 30 exclamation start answering questions rocks D Jibek, choose D. The title of the weird monk is not normal exclamation Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, choose B. Ling Ling's daughter is an old acquaintance after all. Pluto really, hey, Roger. You're just relying on your instincts exclamation Pirate King Roger, what does it matter? It's all just guesswork. Rayleigh was speechless, but then he thought, this is also Roger's style Charlotte Katakuri. Choose C. Kizaru Borsellino, I also choose C. Tilde. As for the elves, I feel that this will be the answer for the version. Redfield, no matter how you look at it, the elves are the most suspicious, right? Controlling the celestial dragons and so on, this Yuimiku is indeed the most suspicious existence. Choose C. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, C. Yuimiku red-haired Shanks. If she can get along with my daughter, she should also be a saner, so I will choose C. A lot of people chose the girl named Yuimiku, and only a few people chose the strange monk Yaruj. On the contrary, Charlotte Garrett, many strong men of the old times believed that it was entirely possible for Big Mom's daughter to be able to control the terrible situation of the celestial dragons. After all, Big Mom used to be quite crazy. She smashed the giant elder with one punch and smashed the nun's skull with one kick. Chapter 37. Ding, the correct answer is C. Congratulations to Katakuri, Borsellino, and Redfield for getting it right. 3 silver-white roulette wheels appeared on the screen again, attracting the attention of everyone in the chat room. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, still a step too slow Gord D. Roger. Isn't she Ling Ling's daughter? What a pity exclamation Redfield. As expected, it seems that I finally have a chance to regain my youth Shiki the Golden Lion. Humph, Reed, how can you guarantee that among the rewards from the Sky Curtain, there is something that can restore your youth Redfield? Based on my observation before Redfield could finish, a group of strong men from the old times showed unpleasant looks on their faces. Rayleigh's face turned pale. He was really afraid of Redfield. This guy could read minds. Some inner thoughts can be read. In a person's life, he might suddenly think of many things. Even in battle, as long as you are not as thick-skinned as Roger, you will basically be attached to the beautiful things in the world. For example, it is normal to confess to your childhood sweetheart after this battle. It's just that some dirty words, if you say them in your heart, will be heard by that man. Every time Redfield takes the initiative to observe, there will always be an unexpected surprise, saying words that make the enemy angry, which is called the taunting skill. Redfield, according to my observation, the rewards issued by the Sky Curtain should be the other parallel world itself. Redfield, like the healing flame that Zephyr got, it's the flame that comes out of Shanks's little sister in the parallel world when she's injured. Redfield, although it is just an individual case, the magic of the parallel world cannot be fully displayed by the Sky Dome in a short period of time. Vegapunk, what you said makes sense. Shiki the Golden Lion, you're really confused. So are you so sure that there is a reward that can restore your youth Redfield? Shiki, haven't you discovered yet? Tokisaki Kurumi's time-eating city is the ability to absorb time exclamation Shiki the Golden Lion. Humph, of course I have discovered this kind of thing, so what? Can you still draw it Redfield? The representative color is red, so it is not necessarily impossible to draw. Redfield did not say too much nonsense and chose to draw directly with a thought. He just didn't believe that with his luck he would not be able to draw. Ding, Redfield chooses to draw as the mechanical sound rang. The silver-white turntable finally began to turn. Colorful colors flashed quickly, and finally, accompanied by gorgeous fireworks, the pointer stopped at a very unique reward. Ding, congratulations to Redfield for drawing the Angel of the Parallel World General Candidate Tobiichi Origami, the Angel of Extinction. Angel of Extinction Sky Wing. One of Origami Tobiichi's angel abilities has the ability to fly at high speeds and teleport Shiki the Golden Lion. Damn, what kind of luck. High-speed flight and teleportation. These abilities sound similar to my float fruit exclamation Redfield. My luck has always been good. Kizaru Borsellino. What an enviable luck. It's much better than the scissors. It seems that just washing hands is not enough. I will take a shower and change clothes before drawing the lottery. Drought Jack. You are so arrogant. You bastard. Why do you make us wait for you to take a shower and draw the prize before we can watch the sky screen, kid? Humph. What a disgusting guy! Exclamation Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Kuatilda, have you been targeted by the three calamities and the supernova? How scary. The veins on Kid's forehead throbbed faintly, and he was shaking with anger. Are you kidding? The person who defeated him with one kick last time, saying that he is scary or something, is simply not credible. This frivolous tone is really unpleasant. Charlotte Katakuri, come to think of it, I didn't pay attention until now. Who is the red-haired daughter? Why have I never heard of her? Is it also a difference in parallel worlds? Gore D. Roger. What? Shanks, you have a daughter now? Lakaru. Yes, of course Shanks has a daughter. Ha 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 ha! Exclamation Pluto. Really? What a surprise. I've never heard Shanks mention his daughter to me before. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Phew. Maybe it has something to do with Zephyr? After all, if the information about the offspring is exposed, it is easy to be retaliated by the enemy. Black Arm Zephyr. The termites in the sea are really annoying! Exclamation Monkey D. Cap. Flamingo, do you want to die? Akinu Sakaski. What a bold statement. Have you lost sight of reality just because you are one of the 7 warlords of the sea? Da Flamingo! Exclamation Vice Admiral Tsuru. Ha. Da Flamingo, it seems that the lesson I taught you before was not enough. After seeing Da Flamingo mention the matter about Zephyr, the high-ranking officers of the Navy immediately started to argue. You know, since Zephyr lost his wife, even a jerk like Garp has never boasted about his grandson in front of him. Da Flamingo is obviously jumping in a minefield. Buggy, Shanks, you bastard. You didn't even tell me you had a daughter! Exclamation Red-haired Shanks. Ha, my daughter? It's been a long time since we last met. Buggy, tisk, what? Shanks, you are such a bad father. Charlotte Katakuri, no wonder I haven't heard of Shanks' daughter or anything like that. Katakuri obviously misunderstood and thought that Shanks' long time no see meant that his daughter had died a long time ago. After all, if they were family members, they would have to make time to see each other no matter how busy they were, right? Anyway, Katakuri himself was like this. Since Shanks himself said long time no see, the most likely possibility is that his daughter had passed away. Charlotte Katakuri, well, it's time for my turn. Ding, Charlotte Katakuri is drawing reward. Charlotte Lingling, I'm really curious. What will I get? Kaido, ha. Katakuri. He's a very good young man! Exclamation Charlotte Lingling. Of course, you don't even look at whose son he is. Kaido, the king of beasts. He, my son is no worse than Katakuri! Exclamation Charlotte Lingling. Yamato. I think it's your daughter. Kaido. No, it's my son. As the turntable twitched, Katakuri's reward was finally drawn. Ding, congratulations to Charlotte Katakuri, you have been selected. Chapter 38. Ding, congratulations to Charlotte Katakuri, you have drawn one tail of pure gold. The man with sharp fangs and tattoos all over his body was eating dessert in the palace. He was stunned when he saw the reward on the sky. As the vice-captain of the Big Mom Pirates, he naturally knew what pure gold was. It was a legendary good thing that could keep people young forever. With it, the sisters can even stay young forever without worrying about getting old. Charlotte Prospero, great. With pure gold, Mom can live and protect us forever! Exclamation Charlotte Owen. Under our mother's leadership, we will definitely be able to survive better on the sea! Exclamation Charlotte Lingling. It's actually pure gold. What a surprise! Exclamation Shepherd 10 Peters. Shepherd 10 Peter Saint. Can pure gold be extracted? Use up. Are you kidding me? Pure gold that keeps you young forever? Pure gold that will make you live a very long time if you wear it! Pirate King Roger. I always thought it was just a legend. Pluto Rayleigh. The rewards of the Sky Curtain are really everything. Even the legendary pure gold can be drawn. Black Arm Zephyr. You're lucky. But since it's a pirate's item, let's go get the gun! Exclamation rocks Dijibek, Hashidu Made, Zepha. This is not something you would say. Kaido, ha ha ha. The sea seems to have become more interesting. Has even Zephyr, the righteous partner, become a strong and domineering person? Charlotte Lingling, well, you old man, you have only recovered your peak combat power, but you still want to steal my son's things. You are really brave. As the only female among the 4 emperors on the sea, Bigmom has been able to roam the sea for so many years, and it has never been her beauty that counts. To get out there, you need strength and power. It's not that simple for a woman to give birth to a 4 emperors level pirate group. Jagalusha Satan, not bad. It's not like Redfield's skill-based, item-based rewards, just grab them! Exclamation black arm Zepha, humph. These dirty 5 elders, all they do all day is rob other people's things! Exclamation rocks Dijibek, wow, it seems that Zepha has not only become more domineering, but also hypocritical. Shiki the Golden Lion, ha 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 ha. I'm finally alive! Exclamation Gore D. Roger, damn, Shiki, did you use the opportunity of reincarnation? Shiki the Golden Lion, Roger. Not only did I use my chance, I have already crawled out of the womb. Ha 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 ha. Wait for me to unify the sea! Exclamation Topman Vachalai, a golden lion? It's just a baby. It will take at least 10 years for you to have the strength to return to the sea, right? Charlotte Lingling, HMMMM, what's going on? How come there's a little thing coming out of my belly? Shiki the Golden Lion, what the hell? Why is my mother in this life 8 feet tall? Fat is fine, but she also wears a pink glutinous dress. It looks disgusting! Exclamation Kaido of Beasts, Hashidu Madai, Shiki, you came out of the old woman's belly! Shiki the Golden Lion, what? Impossible. How could it be? Lingling! Exclamation Monkey D. Garp, ha 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 ha. Shiki, this is so funny. He actually became Lingling's son, ha ha ha! Exclamation Whitebeard, Gullala. I laughed so hard that tears came out. Shiki, you are really good at reincarnation. You directly became the son of the 4 emperors. Buggy, that golden-haired idiot used to fight us in the Elvo Sea. Now he should call us Uncle Buggy. Shiki the Golden Lion, you bastard, on Roger's ship. Sooner or later, I will settle accounts with you! Exclamation Charlotte Lingling, well, I never thought, Shiki, that we could meet again in this way after so many years. Charlotte Owen, so, isn't the legendary pirate Shiki the Golden Lion my little brother? Charlotte Bray, brother Owen, are you trying to make me laugh to death? Ha ha ha, little brother Golden Lion. Charlotte Smoothie, congratulations to mom on the birth of her baby. Cute face Charlotte Katakuri, when I thought that the Golden Lion, the Emperor of the Sea, had suddenly become a family member who needed protection. The mood is quite complicated. Between power. The 5 old men did not laugh, although the Golden Lion Shiki reincarnated into Charlotte Linling's belly. It was indeed funny. But they were professionals and would never laugh. Hoo ha ha. I'm laughing to death. That idiot Shiki actually became Lingling's son. I almost couldn't breathe because of the laughter. The Supreme Commander of the Knights of God laughed without any scruples, not paying any attention to the dark-faced 5 elders. The bald 5 elders with glasses and swords pushed the glasses reflecting white light with the heel of his palm and said solemnly, now that Bigmom has found pure gold, she will probably live for a long time. Moreover, when the Golden Lion grows up in more than 10 years, it will be a problem again. The 5 elders with a birthmark on their foreheads glanced at him and then said slowly, but there's nothing we can do, right? We can't ask that adult to do it himself, can we? Doesn't this make us seem useless? Saint Satan knocked his cane on the ground and then a simple voice sounded. It's just a small thing, we don't need to worry about it. Shiki the Golden Lion has never been a stable person. He will not stay with Charlotte Lingling. As for pure gold, Charlotte Linlin has never been the strongest in the world. With just a few words, the 5 elders present understood what Sartan meant. Let the pirates fight for it. Pure gold is coveted by many people. Whitebeard, that old fellow, is 72 years old and has many hidden injuries. He should be dying soon, right? Although Whitebeard thinks that it would be better to die naturally and let the remnants of the old era end completely, his sons will not be happy about it. The stupid sons adopted by Whitebeard will definitely go to Cake Island to snatch the pure gold. That's true, but no matter which side gets the pure gold, it's not good news for us and that master, right? The long-bearded Saint Mes looked at Satan deeply and then said calmly. For a moment, the power fell into a strange silence and only the laughter of Saint Garin echoed. Shiki the Golden Lion, asshole, why did I become like this? Exclamation Charlotte Lingling. Well, my dear daughter, it doesn't matter if you lose the symbol of manliness. I will take good care of you. Shiki the Golden Lion. Lingling, stop putting a bunch of women's clothes on me! Exclamation Charlotte Lingling. Oh, no, that won't do. I have to take good care of my dear daughter. Chapter 39. Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Woo tilde I have finished my bath. Tilde Kizaru Borsellino. Well, it looks like a lot of things have happened. Shiki the Golden Lion. Shut up. Yellow Monkey. You have the nerve to make so many people wait for you for more than half an hour! Exclamation Buddha's warring states. My ban on speaking has been lifted. Why are you here to draw the lottery? Kizaru Borsellino. This is really a troubling question. Why can't the sky screen play the picture directly after answering the question? Shiki the Golden Lion. Who do you think you are? Tiamu's biological son? Can Tiamu change the rules just by saying it casually? Charlotte Lingling. My dear daughter, don't hide it. Let me hug you. Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Kuwa Ikai tilde the legendary pirate actually became Big Mom's daughter? How scary! Exclamation tilde Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Not only did his body become smaller, but his gender also became female tilde. It's really pitiful tilde Shiki the Golden Lion. So, who is to blame for this? If it weren't for a certain glowing little devil coming to the East China Sea to cause trouble, I wouldn't have been reincarnated! Exclamation Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Well, a dignified golden lion would actually complain like a little girl. It seems that his gender has an impact on him. Shiki the Golden Lion. Bastard! Exclamation Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Ka tilde baby Shiki looks so fierce. Uncle, I am really looking forward to what you will look like when you grow up. Tilde Charlotte Lingling. Well, how about getting engaged to my lovely Shiki-chan? Borsellino Yellow Monkey Borsellino : tilde forget it. I'm not that Lolita control like Cusin. Akichi Cusin. Hey, why are you bringing this upon me again? Nicole Olivia. A man in his 30s falling in love with an 8-year-old girl is really bad. He is just a scumbag. Akenu sat in the office and tilted his hair upward with satisfaction, showing a cheerful smile. Great. Kizaru has no intention of competing for the position of admiral, and Cusin's reputation has been damaged. Who else but me will be the next admiral of the Navy? Rox D. Jibek, ha, the Navy's glowing little devil. Aren't you going to start the lottery yet? I'm getting impatient waiting! Exclamation Crocodile. Why do you care about things like bathing and changing clothes to increase your chances? No matter what, this kind of thing is unreliable! Exclamation Kizaru Borsellino. Well, how can you not know if it's reliable or not if you haven't tried it? Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Okay, I'm going to start the lottery. Yellow Monkey Borsellino. Should I say, my turn, draw a card? Yellow Monkey's mind moved, and the last silver turntable finally began to turn. Ding! Congratulations to Admiral Kizaru. You have drawn a rare item, Seraph Kizaru form. Seraph Yellow Monkey form, developed by Vegapunk from a parallel world, after researching the Seraph 7 Warlords of the Sea, and then researching the bloodline factors of 9 Admirals of the Navy. A special model: the speed and power of the laser are completely restored, and the blood of the Lunaria tribe is used to strengthen it, with 30% of the combat power of the original version. Ding! Because Kizaru's version of Seraphim is too lazy, he will occasionally lie on the ground and cover himself with a blanket to sleep. Please don't worry, this is normal. Perhaps you can use salary as an incentive? The original Shichibukai team was stunned when they saw this Kizaru version of Seraphim. It's not because the reward of Seraphim Kizaru is so good, but because they saw the Seraphim Shichibukai version. No, has the world government long had the idea of getting rid of the donkey after it has done its job? Vegapunk has even developed the Shichibukai version of Seraphim. Is it ready to abolish the Shichibukai system at any time? Doflamingo remembered that last summer he had 3 tubes of blood drawn under Vegapunk's deception, and he suddenly felt a little weak. No way could it be that the world government made such a decision last year after Ace defeated the unknown Shichibukai. Whispering sound Doflamingo gritted his teeth, and a cold light flashed under his sunglasses. Those 5 old men are really amazing. They actually thought of letting Vegapunk to research a way to replace the 7 warlords of the sea and maintain the balance of the sea. Jinbei, this really shocks me. I have finally seen through the true face of the world government! Boa Hancock. As expected, the celestial dragons of Marijoa are so despicable. They even copied me. I will never allow anyone to copy my beauty! Vegapunk, don't worry, Hancock. Your replica is definitely different from you, and it's much smaller than you. Don Quixote Doflamingo. What? From what you said, Vegapunk, could it be that you have copied the Shichibukai version of Seraphim? Doflamingo no longer laughed as loudly as before, and there was a crack on his sunglasses. He was still holding onto a glimmer of hope. No matter how talented Vegapunk was, it would take a lot of time to research a Seraphim that was as powerful as the Shichibukai. But from what Vegapunk said, it seems that he has already copied it. This kind of thing. What a joke. Aikiji-kyuzen, ah la la la, I quite support the idea of copying the 7 warlords of the sea to create Seraphim. After all, those parasites on the sea are not very trustworthy. But what the hell is it to copy the Seraphim that was researched by 9 admirals? Akenu Sakaski. The navy of the parallel world actually has 9 admirals. It's really exciting! Kizaru Borsellino. Oh my god, 9 admirals are really scary. I don't know who the marshal is, who can overpower 9 admirals. Marshal Sengoku. It definitely won't be me. It's annoying enough to have 3 of you guys under my command. If there were 6 more, I wouldn't even have to wait until retirement. I'd be so fed up. This is true. Sengoku really thinks that the admirals of the navy are hard to lead. Akenu yells at him in the office all day long about actively attacking the 4 emperors, and he's got calluses from hearing it. He's been yelling at that bastard Sakaski all day long, and his mouth is dry. It's so annoying. I don't know where Kyuzen goes to sleep in every day, and I can't find him when I want to command him. He's even more disobedient than Borsellino, and deducting his salary won't threaten him at all. The only one who's still a little bit normal is Borsellino, who actually punches into work. But this guy often slacks off when he's on a mission. Last time, he was struggling over whether to crush Roronoa Zoro to death, and he slacked off for 3 minutes. With this group of admirals, Sengoku feels that his hair is almost white. Chapter 40. After the 3 lucky people finally drew their rewards, a new picture finally appeared on the sky screen. A woman wearing a black tight-fitting hip-hugging top and black pointed high-heeled shoes, carrying various bags in both hands, is standing on the street of the Chabeti archipelago with a professional smile on her face. The black fishnet stockings on the legs give people a sense of temptation. Former CP9 agent, current admiral's henchman, Khalifa is trying to keep up with the girl in front of her with short white hair and an expressionless face like a doll. Origami-chan, please slow down a bit, Khalifa panted slightly. Even with her superhuman physique, she couldn't catch up with Tobiichi Origami while carrying so many things. Tobiichi Origami ignored Khalifa's call and took out a small notebook from her trouser pocket and was scratching something out. By a pink gothic dress crossed out. Tobiichi Origami's blue eyes moved around, glanced at the contents of the small notebook, and looked in the direction of the lingerie store. Buy a black lace dress and give it to your favorite person as a birthday gift. Unfinished saga. Start taking action. Tobiichi Origami walked into the bold and open lingerie store without hesitation, completely ignoring the panting Khalifa. Khalifa wiped the sweat from her forehead. There were a few wet golden hairs on her round and smooth shoulders. Khalifa tidied them up and sighed slightly. I didn't expect that as an agent of the CP department. After the Judicial Island incident, she was framed by Spandam and was hunted by the world government. She can still walk in the sun. This kind of thing is really dreamy when you think about it. Recalling the deal that the five elders had made with her in person, Califa pushed her glasses with her slender fingers. Feeling very complicated. 3 days ago, due to the pursuit of the world government, CP9 agents came to the Spring Queen City. Unfortunately, they were discovered by CP agents there. Fortunately, the five elders did not choose to blindly deal with CP9 agents, but proposed a deal. In exchange for using Califa as Origami Tobiichi's personal assistant, he spared the members of CP9. That's why Califa appeared beside Origami Tobiichi. Califa followed with mixed feelings as she looked at Origami Tobiichi, who was wearing a white sailor suit and had short hair neatly pressed against her face, showing a neat and simple beauty. This one, and this one, wrap them all up. The pieces of underwear that Origami Tobiichi pointed to were all the sexiest and most attractive in the store. Even an agent like Califa couldn't help blushing when she saw them. Okay, that's 18,000 Baileys. Before the clerk finished speaking, Tobiichi Origami couldn't wait to hand the underwear to Califa and walked towards the door, apparently intending to go to the next place. Califa used life return to control her golden hair, took out a wad of money from her pink wallet, and handed it to the clerk. Origami-chan, wait for me. Califa ran towards the door in panic. Even as a CP9 agent, she had never seen a woman with such a strong desire to shop. In the chat room, Vin smokes Sanji with pink hearts in his eyes. Isn't this Miss Califa? I'm so excited to be able to appreciate her beauty! Nami, don't embarrass yourself here, you stupid Sanji! Vin smoke judge. As expected, defective products are defective products. They can't even walk when they see a woman. Vin smoke Sora. You bastard judge. Sanji just respects women more. Why do you say he is defective? Vin smoke judge. Sora facing the accusation from his deceased wife. Judge's originally dignified face froze, and he did not refute anything. Children are just weapons to him, but his wife is an exception. Over the years, the thing that Judge, as the leader of Germa 66, regrets the most is forcing Sora to drink poison. He is such a bad husband. He clearly knew the side effects of the drug, but he still forced Sora to drink that stuff when she was pregnant. Judge gritted his teeth, his eyes red. It was so good that he could talk to his wife again after so many years. Although he was the one being scolded, Judge couldn't help but feel happy. He even wanted to be scolded by Solero. Vin smoke Sanji, Mom? Are you in the chat room too? Vin smoke Sora. Well, Sanji, I'm sorry that you have such a bastard father and such an unfortunate childhood. It's a nightmare for you. Vin smoke Sanji. It's okay, Mom. It's not your fault. You're also a victim. Besides, my childhood was definitely not unfortunate with you around! Monkey D. Luffy. Huh? Sanji's mother? Hello, I'm Sanji's captain. Don't worry about leaving Sanji to me. I will take good care of him. Laughing with big white teeth. JPG Nami, Sanji's mother, shouldn't that be Aunt? Aunt Sora, don't worry, Sanji has always been a polite gentleman who follows the code of chivalry. Vinsmoke Sanji, Luffy. I took care of you more often, didn't I? Vinsmoke Sora, hee hee. It seems that Sanji has found a very reliable partner. In the power. The five elders are not interested in the mess of Germa 66, but are discussing judging from the screen footage. It seems that the CP9 in the parallel world is being hunted down by us because of the false accusation of the superior. This is very similar to our world. Spandam. He is a guy with no ability. If he hadn't relied on the influence of his father, he wouldn't have reached this position. The five elders knew about Spandam's frame-up very well, but they didn't stand up for the framed CP9. For something like the Judicial Island incident that damaged the reputation of the world government, someone had to be found to take the blame. Originally, Spandam, the leader of CP9, should have taken the blame, but who told the family behind him to help? The five elders just turned a blind eye and let Spandam find a few people to take the blame. Anyway, as long as there is someone to take the blame, they don't care who gets hurt. However, as the sky screen plays, the future of the ocean will definitely have many more variables. Otherwise, why not cancel the hunt for those people from CP9? After all, Rob Lucci still has some potential. Well, according to the information revealed by Tiamu, the members of CP9 should have escaped to the city of the Queen of Spring, right? In this case, it is simple. Alright, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.